Hey everyone, today is Thursday, the 19th of November 2020. This is The Gap, episode 543. I'm Luke Lawrie. Joab Gilroy's here. It's a busy week, but before we get to that, happy birthday, Joab. What'd you get?
Oh, I got a bunch of shirts.
Shirts.
Yep, this shirt in particular. I love this shirt.
It's got dolphins on it.
They're
dolphin
fucking
shirt.
sharks. They're sharks.
It's alright. It's not going to be upset
they're
about.
sharks. And second of all, yeah, I watched The Boys. I'm like, Butcher's look. That's it. That's my new look. I
Right.
look like Butcher.
Yeah.
And that's what I went.
T-shirts. Collared shirts with patterns.
That's it. Yep.
Yeah. Where's
Like-
the beard coming?
It's getting there.
It's in progress. Yeah.
It's coming.
Downloading.
I keep shaving it. It's really impeding my progress on the bed. But hey, is it just me? This is our regular talking about things that are pointless on an audio podcast. But is my arm? Do I have like the arm of God or something?
Yeah. The hand of God.
Yeah, the hand.
It's glowing.
It's like fucking. It looks like I'm about to fucking cast lightning or some shit. Like with one of my hands. Oh yeah. Anyway, awful audio. Let's move on. It was my birthday. Happy birthday to me. I'm 37.
Nice.
Here's
That's
what I've
old.
learned about being 37.
Yeah, I think I'm 37. I'm not sure at this stage.
You're
Maybe
36.
I'm 36. Yeah, 36. You kind of give up after, like, I think at a point, you don't know anymore. Who cares?
You stop keeping track.
Yeah.
It's existentially too heavy a concept. Here's what I learned about being 37. I recover about as well as I did when I was 36 from being hungover, which
Right.
is to say, not well. Just not well. And that's all I know. Hey, I watched the State of Origin last night. Haven't watched football in a while.
Yeah.
Not like sat down and watched it. I will like bring it up. Mostly the State of Origin. Unions so much better these days. But watched it because fucking Nate's girlfriend won $100 worth of KFC. Holy fuck!
By watching it.
Well, it was like a State of Origin feast.
Okay.
So it got delivered during the fucking Origin. We ate $100 worth of KFC. Let me tell you,
But how did she win it?
it's like a menu log competition.
Oh.
Yeah, it was too much chicken.
Yeah,
I'll
what
tell
does
you what.
$100 worth of chicken look like? Is it just buckets of chicken they bring you and that's it?
Like it was like a voucher you could use at KFC via the app or via Menulog, and yeah, she just ordered a fuck ton of chicken.
You couldn't spread it out a little bit, like order a little bit here, a little bit there. That was like you need $100
all in one go. Yeah,
That is insane. You should have just ordered $100 worth of chicken nuggets. Just be like, fuck you.
I'm going to say something I think might be controversial. I think KFC does shit chicken nuggets.
I don't think I've ever had any.
I've only ever had it when someone else has ordered them, and they were like, "Oh, does anyone want any chicken nuggets?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, sure." And have a chicken nugget. I'm like, "This is the worst chicken product the KFC does. It has to be the worst chicken product they do. Like everything."
Do you
else
think their
about
chips is like the pinnacle? It's up there in terms of like chips, like
chips overall.
Food. Yeah.
Oh yeah, in fast food specifically, 100%. There's a place near where I live, like directly, like halfway between me and Nate, actually, called Texas Charcoal Chicken, and they claim to do the best chips in Australia, and they might not be lying about that claim. Those chips are fucking phenomenal. They're always like that perfect, like crunchy and potatoey, and they've got just the right amount of chicken salt and They're like always hot. They always do a fresh batch for you, and fucking phenomenal. Chicken is fine. It's too expensive for what it is, but those chips, fucking hell. KFC's chips for a fast food joint, I would take KFC's over and anyone. It used to be Nando's, I reckon, but they've changed something. I don't know. They used to be like crunchy, but now they're all those floppy, useless fucks. And the peri peri salt doesn't hide the fact that they haven't cooked the chip properly. So
Yeah.
What
Right.
do you? What's the best chip over in San Fran?
I don't think I've had one yet.
You haven't had a fucking chip.
Not
A
that's
fry.
better. Not that's better than anything back home.
That's
They
got
do
it.
them all differently, I guess.
Right.
Don't really
they
order
would
them much.
They call our chips like steak cut, right?
Something, yeah. I don't know. Like you kind of get them here and there for the most part. Just either really soggy or super hard. I don't know. And it's not something like let's order some fries with it. It's just kind of it just comes with it most of the time.
Right.
Like when you get, or like what we had the other night. We had like fried chicken from somewhere. I can't remember where it was from. Somewhere on like Menu Log or DoorDash or something like that. And yeah, it just comes with a bunch of shit. Like you order the chicken and it's in there. Like the fries is just an added thing. And like, do you want more fries? Double the fries. It's $1. And you're like, all right, well, fucking may as well. But no, I don't have a fries place that I continuously go to.
You know,
It's good
what
mixture.
I always hate when I'm in the States is when you go to a place and you get like a burger and chips and they bring out fucking like potato chips, like fucking crisps, like fucking those. They're cold, and it's like they fucking tipped a packet onto a fucking plate. You're like, this concerns me. Like, have you cooked the rest of my fucking food, or did you just pour that out of a fucking Lay's pack as well, motherfuckers? Like, what the fuck is this shit? Go and deep fry some potato now. These are the least fresh chips I've ever had. I don't care if the air is vacuum packed for freshness. Go and give me my fucking fries. It might be sometimes I do wonder if it's my fault because I'm like, oh yeah, I get a burger and chips, and they're like,
fucking chips.
These fucking English people. Like,
yeah, there's like a dude running down to the local like gas station, going through. We need chips. Have you got chips?
Have you got any chips? God.
There's this English guy in there. There's a British guy.
British cunt.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway,
should we talk about some games? It's week 1 of next current gen. We're calling it, right?
Next current gen. Is that what we're calling it? Because
the next current gen.
I prefer it.
When is next gen? Are you having like 7 years, 8 years? What are your bets? What's our guess?
You start the betting now. I'm going to go with 2027.
Optimistic. You think we're still going to be around then? Interesting.
Yeah, I've got big dreams of maybe getting through the next 7 years. What about you? What's your bet?
If we make it through this year, I'll be impressed. So,
fucking put a fucking date on the line, okay? Like I said last week, Australia always makes it through in every single anime ever. Australia's never harmed. So, pick a year.
When did the Xbox One? Yeah, I'm going 7 years as well.
No, you don't get to. I already fucking picked that year. Okay. Try again.
Let's go.
Or do you want to go? No.
Yeah, no, I'll go 28. I'll go 28.
All right. What's the bet for? You have to make JB's version, Johnny Bravo's version of Skittle Spaghetti. On our Discord, he pitched making the spaghetti strands out of melted Skittles.
Is he providing the fucking pasta maker thing, or like how do you do that?
You'll have to find a way, Luke, in 2027 when I fucking win this bet. Okay.
I still have a
You got-
giant bag of Skittles as well. They'll probably be
Perfect.
still
You
going
got-
by then.
They do seem to last forever.
Yeah.
But you've got 7 years to work out how to make this, so I wouldn't stress.
Mm.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
I'll be 44.
Okay.
Fuck. Just something to think about.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll have sold all my stuff, and I'll be going through my midlife crisis.
Mm.
But it'll be on a game journo salary, so I'll probably have to buy a Huffy BMX bike and and get really into fitness or something. I don't know. I'm not going to buy a convertible. Maybe like a fucking
You get one of those like
Flintstones
cube
version.
cards and those little cube cars and just cut the fucking roof off it.
Cut.
There you go.
Chop the top. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty
Make it
gangster.
even less safe.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes
This is our third generation, right? We've been going on this podcast. Technically.
Yes, it is.
Right.
Very true.
We just got in there. Anyway, so yeah, the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X are now out. I got my PlayStation 5 rocked up in the morning. Amazon delivered it. I was quite surprised. I thought it was going to come a bit later during the night, but yeah, it rocked up at like 10:30 in the morning or something like that, which is pretty good. Which is generally like when my Amazon stuff comes anyway.
Right.
The thing that was worrying though is that it was being sent out by UPS.
Yeah.
And I had the tracking number and all that sort of stuff. And it went to like Sacramento the night before. It was really weird. It started off, it was basically further away the night before than what it was in like the afternoon the day before. Like they sent it north and I'm like, where is it going? It's going like Sacramento. But then eventually it came back into San Francisco at their facility. And so I had the tracking number and it was like signature required. And I was like, that's cool because I'm here anyway. And I was sitting here and then I noticed my my phone, like whenever something gets delivered on Amazon, you get a notification like instantly through the app and it's like, your package has been delivered. I'm like, that's weird. And then I went out there, it was like sitting at my door. And I don't know if it's because they're not doing signatures anymore because of what's happening or if they just left it at my door. And that was a little bit worrying because I've definitely signed for stuff that has arrived at my house during the last like 8 months that all this shit has been going on. Yeah. So that was a little bit concerning that it was like, hey, here's your $500 fucking console that needs a signature and they haven't asked people to sign for it. So that was kind of a bit like, if I didn't check my phone, like who knows, people fucking following like UPS vans around that day and just like stealing people's shit. You never know. Yeah. But luckily I'm home and I was on point for that. So it arrived early. I set it up. Everything went pretty smoothly. The only thing I haven't done yet with the PlayStation is transfer my old games across. I tried to transfer The Last of Us and God of War, and for some reason it didn't work. And every time I boot up my console now, it is like error, like transfer failed type thing. And it just tells me like, you need to do this thing. But I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what's going on. Like it failed the transfer and I think it wants me to boot up the console again. But the issue that I'm having is I can't see the progress of how much it's transferred at this stage or like what's going on. So maybe I just have to wipe it and try again. It's just being weird. I don't know. It's just strange because I've tried it twice now that it's tried to transfer and I thought it did it and it clearly didn't. So I have no idea what's happening.
So you like it'll give you an estimate.
Yeah.
and it'll be like fucking, I don't know, 7 hours or some shit.
Mine had 30 minutes, but I had them plugged in via the LAN cable.
Right.
And it was like, hey, you can't do anything while this is transferring. I was like, that's cool. Because, I went and made a sandwich or something, came back. It seemed to be finished. Like, there wasn't any progress on the screen anymore.
Was it finished on both consoles?
I don't know, because I didn't have my TV plugged into the PlayStation 4. I'd already taken the cable out of that stage.
Right. You have to check on both. Because it said it finished on my PS5, but it wasn't finished on the PS4. And so I just sort of left it. It said it was going to take 4.5 hours for me. It did not take that long, but it did take a while. And yeah, you got to make sure it's finished on the PlayStation as well as, the PS4 as well as the PS5.
Yeah.
For some reason, the two screens don't match up. I think what it's doing is you can play on the PlayStation before, like, on the PS5. Fucking, this is going to be annoying. I've just been calling the PlayStation 4 the PlayStation for fucking the last 6 years, and now I just call the PS5 the fucking PlayStation. But obviously, I need to make a distinction. PS5. I think you can play on the PS5 while it's still doing the transfer from the PS4. But if the PS4 gets turned off, the entire thing fucks up, and it'll like you'll have to fucking rebuild your bloody blah and all that kind of shit.
Yeah. The thing that kind of I didn't go back to it because I wanted to check out Last of Us, but apparently that has not been updated as of yet. So I'm not in too much of a hurry to jump in and see what that's like at 60 frames per second because it ain't there. And God of War already had a 60 frames per second mode on it on the PlayStation 4 Pro. Yep. So that's not a huge deal. But it still would look good, I guess, if it's running at 4K 60. But I still want to like get some time. Like I'm hoping that Last of Us patch comes through before the end of the year because I'd like to go back and finish my second playthrough of it before we get to Game of the Year stuff. But I don't know how that's going to turn out. It's just sort of strange to me that that hasn't been done yet for such a big game on the platform. It's weird. Anyway,
it's weird times, man.
Yeah, the other thing is the trying to get the upgraded versions of PlayStation 4 games onto your PlayStation 5. The only one that I've sort of had a look around with was NBA 2K21. Trying to think of the dates. And so you and I both got sent the Mamba edition, which came with the free upgrade, which you actually still had to pay for, from one console to another. And when you go into and I redeemed the code and all that sort of stuff. When you go into your library, I've got NBA 2K12 on my library list. Sorry, 21. But it says PS4 on the actual like game little icon, and so you have to then go into the game store page or whatever they're calling it, and then like click on the more options button, which is like the 3 dots, and then start like drilling down, and eventually you find like the icon that has like PlayStation 5 upgrade, and that's you click on that and you download it. I feel like Xbox was making this big deal about smart delivery and how you would get your old games that you currently have across to the new platform.
Yeah. And
people kind of brushed it off as this thing, like, why are you making such a big deal about this? And it's like, now I understand why. because it is a big deal. And clearly Sony didn't think about it as much.
I think the problem is that Sony, like PlayStation, has somehow found the worst fucking way to do it. Like the way it does it on the Xbox is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like you don't even know.
Yeah. Because I nearly downloaded the PlayStation 4 version if I didn't see that little icon, because I was like, oh yeah, cool.
On the Xbox, you just turn your fucking Xbox on and it's fucking updated itself.
Yeah.
Like if you've got all those settings on, right? Like you've got it to update when it's in rest mode and all that kind of shit. You got to have all that stuff set on for smart delivery to work. But yeah, you literally just turn your fucking Xbox on and suddenly it works. And you're like, wow, that is easy, right?
Yeah.
But PlayStation worked real hard to make their version the shittiest possible version. Like, real fucking good job, guys, to just make it as obtuse as fucking possible. Because I was shocked. I can't believe that's what they landed on. They're like, oh yeah, no, it's so simple to get. Like this is the UI designer, UX designer at fucking PlayStation must have just been having a fucking year of it, eh? He must have been just. Well, I mean, you click on the three dots and you scroll down and you select PS5. I don't understand what the fucking. I don't see what the problem is. Anyone can do it. You all know about the three dots. Everyone knows about three dots.
Yeah, what do the three dots even mean?
Yeah, meanwhile,
I was just looking. I didn't know. I was in like the fucking store page and
because the fucking button next to it says play, and you're like, well, I guess I'll hit play. Like,
yeah,
right? Like, what the fuck are they doing? Ugh. Anyway,
like if there was a button there that said, I don't know, like PlayStation 5 upgrade or something, like right? If it was grayed out and then you click on it, it's like, hey, you're not like this game doesn't have that ability, or you need to purchase the upgrade, or whatever it is that like it needs to do to check that box. At least it's there. But having to click on the three dots, like the more options or whatever it is, and then it's just such a weird decision.
Fucking.
I got that.
Sounds like you don't know about the three seashells.
Yeah. Tell him about the three dots. So that was a little hurdle. The other thing that I had, I mean, this isn't going to be for most people, but my Miles Morales upgrade for Spider-Man PS4 remastered, or whatever they're calling it. So they had this Ultimate Edition that you could buy, and it would give you the upgraded Spider-Man version on PlayStation 5. And I can't redeem the code on my main account because it's region locked to the US, and because my main account is an Australian account, it's locking me out of that code because it's like you're in the wrong region. So that's a bit shit. Even considering that like there's no region locking on PlayStation games anyway from a disc point.
That's what's weird about it.
Oh, it's just a massive pain. I've had this problem a couple of times trying to do things on my PlayStation account, but because I live in the US now, I can't use my main account because it's an Australian account, which is a fucking nightmare. So sometimes I've had to, like with what was it? Was it Ghost of Tsushima? I think I bought using my US account. I don't know. I bought a bunch of stuff because I can't actually buy games over here digitally using my normal account. It just won't let me. It's like, hey, your credit card is not a Australian credit card, so you can't use it because I'm using a US credit card. Just like weird things like that where they're putting barriers up. So in order for me to redeem my Ultimate Edition Spider-Man code, I've got to log into my US account and then redeem it that way and then come back and play it, which is just I don't mind having two accounts, but this is just an old school way of thinking that they've been doing for a long time. For like this account I set up was when I was playing like Rock Band back in the day, when Rock Band wasn't available in Australia and you had to buy it through the US, and that was the only reason I had my account set up, because I've got tons and tons of songs on there. Anyway, I don't think that's going to be a problem for most people unless you're living abroad somewhere else. But otherwise, everything else went okay. Playing the games, it's awesome. It's pretty quiet. I'm not having any issues with any of that sort of stuff. I checked out Astro's Playroom as one of the games. That game really shows off like the controller, right? That's pretty much what that game is doing for the most part, is being like,
100%.
hey. And that controller is really something that showcases next gen.
Yeah.
And something we talked about a few weeks ago when you were like, hey, this Xbox Series X interface is basically the same as the Xbox One interface. The controller is pretty much the same, except for the analog. Um, the joy. Fuck, what do you call them? The pad.
Yeah.
Like I'm going with a blank. D-pad. There it
D-pad.
is. But it's not a D-pad anymore. Is it? Don't they call it something
No.
else?
They do have another name for it, and
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay.
But like, you know what I mean? You get that thing in your hands and it's like, it doesn't feel like it's anything new. Whereas you pick up that PlayStation 5 DualSense controller and it's like, oh yeah, I get this. This is new. Like it's got some weight behind it. And the moment that those triggers start doing their magic, and the haptic feedback and all that sort of thing, that's when you get a sense of, oh, there's some really interesting things that could be happening here. There's obviously games and instances where you wouldn't use that. Like I can see if you're really competitive on consoles for games like Call of Duty or shooters where you don't want that resistance in there, then I can see a case for switching that stuff off. But it gives you like an extra level of immersion, right? When you get that bow and arrow or something and you can kind of feel that pushback when you pull the trigger down is really, really cool. Anyway, so I finished Astro's Playroom. It's like a neat little game. They were gonna charge for that at one stage, right? Like that was gonna be a game that you'd pay for.
Really?
I feel like it was. I could be wrong.
Awesome that they did not. I mean,
yeah.
I think it is, a well-made game experience, but it is very short and not terribly deep.
It's not deep at all. It's pretty, like once you get past sort of that first two levels, it kind of is very samey. Like there's just platforming and that sort of thing, and then every once in a while they'll be like, hey, there's a suit that you're getting and it performs this way. That's kind of the one thing that changes up between each of the four worlds. But it's a cool little tech demo that shows off the capabilities of some of the interface that you can interact with the controller and that sort of thing. So
yeah,
I enjoyed it. I went through and played the whole thing. It was fun for what it was. It wasn't challenging at all. There's like speed running like levels that you can go into, and I haven't had a look at any of that stuff, but I feel like I'm pretty much done at this point with
the speed running levels are different from the other levels, so I don't know, it's halfway worth checking out, but they're not that different. They're a little bit more challenging, I guess. But not that big a deal.
Anyway, not a lot more to add about Astro's Playroom.
Like, if you've got a PlayStation 5, it is absolutely the first thing you should play. 100% the first thing you should play is Astro's Playroom. Because it's free, and it installs itself on your computer, or it installs itself on your PlayStation, your console, or I don't know if it comes pre-installed now. I've heard conflicting things. Some people have said that it was been on the console when they turned it on, and others have said it immediately started downloading, and I don't know.
I mean, it's possible that it downloaded before it was like you finished the install.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's short, but it's one of those things that I think is perfect for showing you that you're playing something next gen.
Yeah, because like a lot of the games we'll talk about today have elements of the way that controller works and like loading times and that sort of thing. But Astro's Playroom sort of grabs all of that stuff and is like, hey, this is kind of what you can do with it.
as you were saying about the Xbox Series X, you hold the controller and it feels the same. There are differences. Sorry. Sorry. Anyway, there are differences, but they're extremely subtle, and it's that's really the case with the Xbox, the Series X versus the PlayStation 5 is the differences are subtle.
Yeah.
But good. They're good differences. But yeah, they're quite subtle. And I think that's the thing about the PlayStation is it's not subtle. It shows you immediately, and that's what's great about Astros is that you really get it. Throws it in your face. This is next gen gaming. You are playing something next gen. Fucking drink it in.
Yeah.
But it is just the controller. I did not find the graphics to be all that impressive.
No, it's not doing anything outlandish.
Yeah.
All right, that's Astro's Playroom. Should we move on to the next one? We got
Do it.
Destiny 2 here still.
I put this back on. I played this. I've been playing this. I'm still playing with Race and his crew. They've been awesome, taking me through some strikes and stuff. I unlocked the new exotic and Beyond the Lights. I think Beyond Light had only just came out when we talked about it last week. But played through all of the Beyond Light campaign and then went to the extra missions afterwards to unlock the new exotic, which is like a grenade launcher that shoots out ice, which is pretty cool. It's fairly situational, in my opinion, but it's still rad. And just went through, played that, and then I went and played a bunch of it with Steph, Hex, Ben Dixon for an IGN video that we made. Basically just a Let's Play Destiny video. I think it'll be up at the end of this week, but I have no idea. And had a lot of fun. It was I have no idea how the video is going to turn out. It was odd. It was an interesting shoot because we were sort of in a room in the IGN offices, playing in front of these two giant televisions with our Xboxes sitting there, and it wasn't very well ventilated, and it was a fucking stinker of a day. I think it got up to 38 degrees, and holy shit, it was quite the. It was a fucking oven, basically.
It was a sweat fest.
I was slow roasting. I am worried that if they use clips from the end of me from the end of this fucking video, I'm just going to look like the sweatiest cunt alive. But only as a person, because my gameplay wasn't terribly sweaty. Although I had more gear than Steph, and so I was doing more of the killing. But I don't know. We just played through a bunch of it. She also plays mostly on Steam, but we were playing on the Xbox version because it's all you can get all of Destiny on Game Pass now, which is pretty fucking cool, including Beyond Light. So Game Pass is seriously the fucking best thing to have happened to video games. It is crazy how much value you get out of that shit. And EA is coming real soon, right? Like a month or some shit. That's fucking huge. Anyway, that's including anyway. We're playing and before I don't know. The one thing we did was I started a new character so that we could go through some of the Beyond Light campaign to showcase that, and then we switched to my real character. But I didn't have a fucking speeder bike. I hadn't unlocked it. I hadn't done enough of the restarted campaign to do it. I literally just started a fresh character to do this. So I was walking around doing the Beyond Light campaign with the gun you pick up right at the fucking start of the game. I didn't have a heavy weapon at all. I didn't have a speeder, Sparrow. Holy fuck, man, it was some goof shit. And so I had to stand on Hex's Sparrow while she rode places, which was easily the most idiotic way to attempt to do that. But also, she has zero sense of direction. Absolutely no sense of direction. And I was very busily concentrating on trying to stay standing on this fucking Sparrow. And so we would just we'd be going straight for a little while, and I'd look up. I'd be like, where are we going? No, we're supposed to be. Oh my God. Anyway, it was pretty entertaining. It was good fun. But yeah. Anyway, play more Destiny.
Yeah. Is that new update any good? Like, I've seen a lot of mediocre reviews about it.
Some of it's really good. And I think the campaign itself is awesome. It's like setting up some really big things in the future. But I can see why people are upset, because what they did is they vaulted a bunch of shit, so you can no longer go back to a bunch of the planets that you were able to go to. And like those planets are just gone. And as a result, like a lot of the content is gone. Like the content that people used to do is gone. And they didn't really replace it. They didn't like vault it and then replace it with as much stuff. They vaulted it and replaced it with a bit of stuff, but more stuff is going to be coming over the course of this expansion.
It's like a raid next week, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so as a result, it feels like an immediate downgrade. It feels like you've had stuff taken away. It doesn't feel like a meaty expansion. It doesn't feel like it gives you a lot, or even as much as it takes away. And I think that's a huge part of the outcry. I mean, there are definitely valid fucking criticisms of the way Bungie went about fucking vaulting this shit, because I've been seeing that they vaulted. Basically, they made redundant a bunch of guns, and then they reintroduced those guns. And so all they really did was take people's favorite fucking guns, the guns that they always used in raids and strikes and in Crucible and stuff, the ones where they played for hours and hours and hours and finally gotten that one version of the gun that had all of the mods and perks that they fucking love and all that kind of stuff. And they had all that shit, and then they took that away and gave them the same gun again without any of the good shit, and they have to do all that again. They have to fucking do that grind again. That is fucking bullshit. That is such a fucking bullshit move. I cannot believe they did that. And I spoke to, I spoke about last week how I talked to Tokanori. Can't remember his last name. Tomonori Kinoshita, the lead combat designer, and he was saying, balance was very important to them. But if you step into the fucking Crucible, holy absolute fuck, you will spend your entire life frozen. I've done enough. I haven't done as much. Racy's got even more than me, but I've done enough so that when I freeze someone and shatter them, however I froze them, it then streaks out and finds someone else to fucking freeze on my grenade. Right? which is awesome in a strike because I throw the grenade in, I shatter one person, and it just like chain freezes everyone. It's really fucking cool, and the effect of it is really cool, and it looks really fucking cool, and all that kind of stuff, and it works out really good. I do not necessarily think it's terribly balanced because I don't have the fucking highest light level, but I can wallop cunts way higher than I am just by freezing and shattering. Like, judicious use of those skills has allowed me, like, the impact that crowd control has had on Destiny is massive, right? It's made a lot of the game easier. In the Crucible, that is the dumbest shit of all time. My old strategy of piss bolting, only playing control and piss bolting for B as opposed to whichever flag is closest to me, now results in there'll be 3 other players on the other team who've already arrived at B, and I throw my grenade in, I shatter one of them, and then everyone else remains frozen until I shatter them. And if anyone comes to fucking back them up, they get fucking frozen too. It is idiotic. That shit, that can't happen. That can't be how it is. It's fucking bonkers. Yeah, they can't let it remain like that. So yeah, I can see, like, there are absolutely a lot of valid criticisms about what Bungie has done with Beyond Light. I don't think they play tested Stasis enough. They didn't cunt test it, you know. They didn't go in and be like, how is someone going to use this to the peak of their advantage? Too often, like with play testing, especially with like heavily established teams, you see they play test it and they're like, yeah, this is balanced, because when they play together, they're all mates. And if I was playing against, you know, if we were all playing together, it's fucking like last week when I was talking about Among Us, right? And you can tell that like Kleb and Squirrel knew a lot more about how to play Among Us because they'd watched a bunch of videos and played more of it, and they knew all the fucking tricks and tips and stuff. And so they were way more capable, right? And the cunty thing to do, not even the cunty thing, the most efficient way to play it would then be to use those skills. But the fun way to play it would be to not use those skills, right? And because they're all friends, when they're playtesting at Bungie, what happens, and you see this in other games as well, like I haven't like directly fucking spoken to them about it, but like we've vaguely danced around this idea at like the Call of Duty review trips, right? Back in the day when I'd find something that allowed me to literally just wipe the floor with everyone. And I was already like pissing it in against every single person at any of these fucking review events. But we'd find some gun combo that just went absolutely disgusting. You know, you'd find the fucking the
MP5 of Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War.
No, like not even like not even the MP5, like worse than that. The fucking, remember when there was the dual wield fucking revolvers and they shot shotgun pellets or whatever, and people were just like being murdered, or the underbarrel grenade, underbarrel shotgun on the FAMAS or whatever the fuck, like that sort of thing. Like, and you'd find it, and you could use it to just absolutely belt everyone. And you do it for one round, then you stop doing it because, you know, it was no fun for anyone. But you talk about it, and they're like, oh yeah, we just, you know, I mean, we tested everything, but we didn't test everything in every fucking situation. And the situation that they never tested it in is being the biggest cunt hole in the fucking server. And that is something Bungie, I think, failed to do. They definitely play tested it, but they didn't play test it in a way where they were like absolutely trying to destroy, not just fucking win, but like destroy and humiliate their opponents. And as a result, yeah, they just didn't see this shit coming. And obviously to the detriment of the game. But I mean, I guess they'll balance it. It's just, yeah, it's funny to hear them say that they looked into balancing it when, nah, clearly not enough. Anyway, so yeah, Destiny 2. Cool. I haven't jumped in since I played on Monday, but only because I've been hammering out Demon Souls. But I actually enjoy rolling around Europa, so I'll probably jump in over the weekend now that I've finished with Demon Souls and will never play it again. So yeah, Destiny 2.
Right.
What's up next?
Let's go with Bugsnax quickly.
Cool.
This is the free PlayStation Plus game of the month. It's available on PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4. I've been playing on PlayStation 5. This is a first-person puzzle game where you're on this island and there's a bunch of these weird furry creatures on there that can talk and are living in a community that have lost sight. They've sort of lost the person running, the one in charge. She's kind of disappeared, and you've been sent there to interview her. But when you get there and she's not there, then it sets you off on this quest to try and figure out what happens and where is she gone and what were the events leading up to that. The game itself is sort of like this Pokemon-esque, all these weird types of creatures that are on the island that the residents eat, and when they eat them, their body parts turn into the type of creature that they were. For instance, there's weird strawberries walking around, and when the residents eat that, then a body part of theirs will turn into they got strawberry hands now and that sort of thing. And so the puzzle elements are you basically walking around and trying to capture these little creatures in different using different tools that are made available to you, and you're trying to complete little quests that you've been given or handed along the way to further the progress of the story. And the actual creatures interact with themselves in different ways as well. Some of them have different personalities. They've got likes and dislikes that they've got. They're attracted to certain things in the world. So, for instance, you can throw bait out to certain things, and they'll be attracted to it. Or you need to lure them to certain areas. If they get afraid of you, they can run away and hide in a bush, and you've got to try and figure out, all right, how do I get them out of that bush? Some creatures will just automatically leave that bush when you run away and get away from their vicinity. Others need something to motivate them to come out. Some creatures you'll need to capture them by knocking them out first, and you've got to try and then figure out, well, how do I do that? And it could be as simple as making two creatures butt heads against each other by luring them really close together. Just weird, quirky, puzzly type solutions in the game that you got to try and figure out how each creature sort of interacts with the world. And then you're tasked with sort of collecting all these creatures and trying to solve the quests that the world is trying to get you to solve. It's okay. I guess a lot of people were pretty hyped up about this game because it was really weird and people were not really sure what it was. There was trailers going around and there was a lot of hype about it, but nobody really knew what the game was. They were just kind of hyped about the weird, wacky nature of the world and what was happening. And so once people have now got their hands on it, they're like, oh yeah, okay, fair enough. It's very different to what people sort of thought it was going to be, which is this weird combination of a puzzle game mixed with Pokemon / Pokemon Snap type things. Because there's a camera, you take pictures of these little creatures, the Bugsnax as they're called, and it gives you detailed information about them. You're putting together like a journal that you fill out once you discover something that's new, and then you can go back and reference all that sort of stuff. And yeah, it's sort of like a collect 'em all type experience as you get further and further into each area that unlocks. So you'll start off in one area, and as you progress through the games, it starts opening up different places you can go and visit, and that's when you start interacting with these different types of Bugsnax. But I haven't gotten
You
anywhere
keep
close
saying
to
this
finish.
word like it's a real thing, like it's a
Bugsnax.
real word. Yeah.
Well, it is a real word.
It's-
Yeah. Anyway, it's a interesting, quirky little game. It doesn't run too crash hot on the PlayStation 5, which is interesting. This feels like something that was pushed out quickly for the release of the PlayStation 5 at this stage, because if it ain't running well on that, there's something going on behind the scenes performance-wise. I haven't had any technical issues like crashes or weird bugs in the game where I can't progress any further or anything strange like that. It's purely performance is a bit flaky in certain parts of the
Right.
game, which is strange to me. But otherwise, it's a free game. If you've got PlayStation Plus, just add it to your list if it's there. When things die down and there's maybe not a lot to play, worth checking out for a little bit, see if it's something that's up your alley, if you're into those sort of catch 'em all style games, or even like puzzle games. It's because it's very puzzle focused. So yeah, Bugsnax, it's pretty much it's fine. It's not lighting the world on
fine.
fire. Yeah.
It's what you want to hear.
I think
about
people
you.
were getting really hyped up about this game, and it's not. It ain't that.
I think it was just they were just memeing.
Yeah,
They were
it's not
just-
as it's not as deep as what people thought it was going to be. I guess it's it's interesting, but it's okay. Anyway, something that is a bit better than okay is Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales is out with the PlayStation 5. I've now had a chance to play it. I've pretty much finished it at this stage. I'm like 98% progressed through that game. I think I've got like a couple of caches that I need to to find on the map somewhere. But for the most part, like everything's being checked off that list, which is cool. Like you said, it's not as, I guess, deep as that last Spider-Man game. There's a lot of stuff that has been sort of streamlined from the last game. There's definitely like a lot of things to go out and do, but it's a 15 sort of hour experience all up. You're going to get through that main story pretty quickly within about 8 hours or so, and then cleaning up the rest of the side missions and all the crimes that are sort of going on the map is not going to take you too long. Not like Spider-Man did on the PlayStation 4. But yeah, so it's a lot more, like I said, streamlined. You've got that. A lot of the side missions now are not like random encounters and things that sort of pop up in the map. They've really made it a lot easier for you to sort of just be like, all right, what do I want to do now? And so he's got this app that people are able to.
it is like, just to clarify, they are still that.
Hmm.
You can just do it via the app.
Yeah. You just bring it up
Right,
and be like, I want to do this thing, as opposed to waiting for it to happen.
Waiting for some car to drive around or some shit. And you're like, all right, here we go. I can finally do this one.
Yeah. So now you can actually be like, oh, this is the one that I'm missing, and I want to get that extra bonus objective, and I can just go do it, as opposed to like waiting for it to pop in your game. So things like that are sort of a bit more fluid, and they've made things a bit easier in terms of like, hey, like, we know you're just trying to have some fun. Let's just make it easier for you to do that. It's absolutely like a faster paced story. It's nowhere near as like Marvel Spider-Man was had this like slow build up, but I think it worked really well because you're invested in this world and you're getting to know these characters, especially like the relationship between Peter Parker and his like mentor throughout that game, and the way that sort of builds up and builds up, and you kind of see how that person then ends up turning towards the end of the game, and then what happens there. Whereas this is Miles Morales is a lot quicker. Like it's just going all of the time,
Yeah.
and you don't get
Yeah.
that slow burn. Like you kind of just thrown into it straight away. Um, and I thought I enjoyed the story, but I don't think it was as good as Marvel Spider-Man. And that could have just been because it just didn't feel as fleshed out, I guess.
Yeah.
Like you didn't have that time to sort of digest it because it was just always like, all right, let's go. And we're going like really quickly, and also there's not as much meat there. It's just kind of like we're giving you everything all at once, and there's no little side bits that are sort of happening. Like in Spider-Man, you
It's
get
the
those.
classic it's the classic like standalone expansion conundrum wherein they wholeheartedly assume that you've played the original game.
Mhm.
And so they're like, okay, so we don't need to walk you through any of this shit. We can
Yeah.
just fucking have you do it. We just like fucking you just go at it. But the mistake they make is that ultimately, like they like, you know, Insomniac has done this fucking ages.
Yeah.
They're very good at this stuff. And it turns out they're breadcrumbing that they've seamlessly folded into their narrative,
Yeah.
actually made the narrative really well paced.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now that they've assumed that they don't need to do that breadcrumbing, they've lost that pacing. And it's like, that is got to be one of the like most disheartening. Like you couldn't have fucking, you wouldn't see it coming, right? Like,
right. Because that stuff is in there a little bit. Like you've got the interaction between Miles and his mom and his best friend. Like there's a little bit of that in there, but you compare that to what was in Marvel Spider-Man, and it's like him talking with MJ and going down to feast with Aunt May, and talking to like just there's all this talking to Doc Ock and all that sort of stuff. Like there's a lot of character moments in there, and that's the sort of stuff that is missing here. And you don't get the stuff with like side characters as much, where there's Spider-Man had like Tombstone and stuff with Black Cat, and you've got all these side characters and missions that are around that sort of fill out that world a bit more. That isn't as fleshed out here. Like there's still stuff there, but it's not as meaty. So I don't know. I just didn't. I don't. As much as I like the story, I don't think it's as good as Marvel Spider-Man, but. It definitely goes in some interesting places. There's like this is definitely like Insomniac's take on the character in all these two characters at this stage, like Spider-Man and Miles Morales, or Peter Parker and Miles Morales. Like those two characters should not exist in the same world, according to all the stuff we've gotten in the past. Like this just doesn't happen. So they've, and even going to like looking at the events of what happened at the end of Spider-Man, like they've done some big changes in that story that you just don't know like what it is they could do next. And so by them sort of looking at what has come before, the stuff that like Bendis did and Dan Slott and like those guys, and creating these characters, but then them taking it and being like, all right, we're going to use your foundation, but we're going to take it in a completely different direction. I'm interested to see where that sort of stuff goes. Because
is it just the Sony version of Spider-Man? Do you think at this point? Because they exist in the same world.
They don't. Into the Spider-Verse.
No, not Into the Spider-Verse. The fucking main one. The fucking Billy Elliot kid one. What's his name? Tom Holland.
Homecoming.
Yeah.
They do exist. My point is, in Miles Morales' Spider-Man, Peter Parker is dead. Like the reason he becomes Spider-Man is because Peter Parker dies, and then he comes along later on and takes the mantle. Like they never they're not like together swinging around fighting and all that. So that stuff happened because of Dan Slott's like Spider-Verse storyline, and that's what spawned into the Spider-Verse, and then also I guess this game as well, because this game's been in the works before into the Spider-Verse.
Saying that the Tom Holland
Yeah.
Spider-Man,
Yeah,
they exist in the same world, right?
they do, yes.
They're not going to kill Tom Holland. They're not going to kill Tom Holland.
You don't know that.
Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. They are not going to kill Tom Holland so that they can make a fucking Miles Morales movie that is absolutely high. That is the highest shit you've ever fucking pitched in your entire fucking life.
They may not. My point is
they
that...
will not. They will bring Miles Morales in. Why would you have fucking Childish Gambino, Dong Lover, fucking cameo as
his uncle?
As a proto Prowler, if you're not going to actually do something with it, like, come on.
I think it's just an odd. It's just.
It's Sony's version has them both in the same universe. Is what I'm driving at.
I mean, they're in the same universe, but they're not. They're not fighting
at the same time. At
the
same time, obviously.
So yeah, I'm curious to see where that goes, and the other thing is, this game is also set place in New York. It's set during Christmas time though, so the backdrop is a little bit different. It's exactly the same city. You've got the places sort of covered in snow. It's a different color tone to it. It's more whites and that sort of stuff. And they've gone through and changed some of the there's a lot of graffiti and things like that around Harlem and that sort of stuff. There's Christmas decorations but for the most part it's Manhattan, right? It's the same city. And so you end up with this conundrum is like, where does this story go next? Like, what are they doing next? Because there's another Spider-Man game in the works. That's no secret, right? And so where are they just going to do Manhattan again? Is it going to be the same map, or is it going to be an even more detailed Manhattan, or do they go somewhere else? Because on top of that, you've got this other problem where the premise behind Miles Morales is Spider-Man goes on vacation. Peter Parker goes on vacation, and he leaves the town, and he leaves Miles in charge of looking after it, who has been his version of Spider-Man for a while now. And so in the future, is it going to be a co-op game, or are you switching between both characters, or like are they gonna do the thing where they kill Peter Parker, or like what happens in that next game, and how do you make it so that like it feels different? It's not just Manhattan again, or do they go somewhere else? Is it like Spider-Man? They did like a worldwide storyline where he was going to like London and shit like that, like flying around to different places because he was the CEO of his own company. And is that the take they go, or do they just go back to Manhattan and it's like more of Manhattan now, and you've got like Queens that you're looking after, and some of those smaller suburbs that are around Brooklyn. I don't know. I'm just curious what happens, because it's such an interesting direction that they could go in, and I'm just like, I don't even know where to start for that next game, like what that game looks like. And I think they've put themselves in a really weird position. So anyway,
here's my pitch.
Yeah,
the Spider-Mobile, it handles like absolute shit.
Yeah,
right.
Why would you need to swing anywhere when you've got the Spider-Mobile?
But also, 80% of all the game's missions involve using the Spider-Mobile.
Yeah,
and you absolutely fucking hate it. You hate every fucking second of it. And you're like, why? Why would they do this?
Right.
That's how Batman went about it. That was their strategy. That was Rocksteady's plan.
If it was a co-op game, would that interest you?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine, like, co-op swinging through the oh
like
my
holding
God,
hands and shit, and
you wouldn't be like, you would have to somehow catch up to me to be able to hold my hand while we were swinging.
Yeah.
Like I know you prefer the slow swing, of Spider-Man, but I am speed. I'm fucking Sonic up in this shit, just fucking blitzing. So yeah, no, it's fun.
Anyway, I sort of jumped the gun there. I just sort of, when I finished, I was like, oh man, I just don't. I'm curious to see where this game goes in the future because it's one of those weird things where Arkham Batman like had that same issue, right? Is it like he's in Gotham and it's like, all right, how do we make Gotham different? At least the first game had like Arkham. It was in Arkham Asylum, and then you went to Arkham City, and the next one was like, oh shit, all right, we've done this before. Now what do we do? And I think that's a weird spot that Insomniac is in now, where it's like, how many times can we do Manhattan before it gets old? Anyway, there's still interesting things they could do, and I think one of the first things that is really showcased for this game, the things they've learned, is that the Rhino fight at it's like the tutorial, and you as a character in the first game when there was the Fisk tutorial, right? You're outside of Fisk Tower, you're punching a bunch of goons, and it transitions from you outside on the street inside the Fisk Tower building. They go even like further into that transition sequence in this game by being outside and then like smashing through a bunch of walls, and then all of a sudden you're inside a fucking mall, like a shopping center. And that sort of just shows you how much they've really learned about this engine and like the things they can do with it, because you didn't see anything like that in the last game, like such a quick transition. This game loads extremely fast when it's doing things like that, and that's just not a PlayStation 5 thing. Like that is something that will happen on the PlayStation 4. That quick, like you in the city swinging around to immediately going inside of a building and smashing stuff around inside of a building. I think that transition is like just really cool, the way it does that. And they do it a couple of times in this game where you're like outside and then all of a sudden you're inside a building, and then you're back outside. So maybe that could be something they could look more into, is those seamless transitions, now that they have got more power to do that sort of thing.
I think what makes them cool is how sparingly they're used. I think if they went too ham on it, it would lose some of its coolness.
I mean, it's something you don't see a lot of in this game. The big, and I don't think they did it too much in the last one. Those sort of action set piece moments where they're actually quick time events as well, and they transition between combat and the quick time events. There's not a lot of them here, but I enjoy them more than watching a cinematic, like, because at least I'm engaged and it feels like I'm doing something. And they don't have automatic fail states either. Sometimes if you do fuck it up, it's just like like, hey, it'll just keep going. Like he'll miss or do something. And other times it's like, you need to hit this button. But yeah, I know what you mean. Like you don't want it to be so like repetitive and seeing it all the time, and it's like, that was cool the first time, but now they've done it 6 times. Like, whatever. It's getting a bit old. Yeah. They do some. I like what they've done with the character, some of the characters, the villains in the game. They again going back to like this being Insomniac's game, and doing their own versions of it. Like the stuff with Miles's, I guess, main villain in this game is not really a Miles villain. It's a Peter Parker villain at the end of the day. And so how they take that character and then sort of incorporate it into Miles's world, and then the payoff for that and where it goes is really cool. You kind of, I mean, you can see it coming. If you really know a lot about the story and the character, you kind of see it coming really early, but they're not trying to hide it at a certain stage. Like you kind of start putting pieces together. And that's kind of cool. And then, I just think there's a lot of interesting characters in that game, that are a lot of fun to sort of be around. I just wish there was maybe more of it. So yeah. What else is there? The combat. That's another thing that's kind of got me interested, is like where they go next, because they've gotten to this point where I think the combat is combat is better in terms of the pace of it and how Miles can just like beat the shit out of everybody. But at
Yeah.
the same time, I don't like that there's less gadgets. I think there's half the amount of gadgets in this one. He's got like
Right.
he's got the mine, web shooters, gravity well, and what's the fourth one? Clones. He can shoot the decoy
Yeah.
clones. I never used the web shooters as much, and I think that had the problem I had with the game was every time you would try and quickly shoot the web shooters, it'd think you were trying to select a different gadget, and it'd bring up the scroll wheel because that was previously on the left trigger or left bumper, and they've moved it to the same button that you used to shoot. And I'm shooting really quickly, and the game is like thinking that I'm holding the button, and so that would just get annoying. And so I wouldn't use the web shooters as much as what I did in Spider-Man, Miles, the first one, Marvel Spider-Man. But I really like the stuff they do with the Venom abilities, like they've got like an extra combo meter on there now, so you're building up this meter, and then you can use these Venom strike abilities. And I think there's about 6 of them or so, and you can combo them in different ways. Like it really speeds up the pace of that combat. They throw a lot more enemies at you in this game, and you can get really overwhelmed quite quickly.
Yeah.
It's challenging. Like there's some missions in there that I've played. Those they're like little contained areas where it's like, here's a bunch of enemies and you got to clear them out. They were pretty easy in the last game, and they've definitely made them harder this time around because there's stuff in there where they'll take away like your powers. You can't use them anymore, or if you use a certain ability on a certain enemy, they'll just counter it and it'll just fucking hit you. But he's got a lot of crowd control and ways that he can deal with enemies really quickly. And so then that comes back to like, all right, they've obviously made Miles a lot more powerful by giving him less gadgets, but at the same time, I feel like he's more powerful than what Peter Parker was in Marvel Spider-Man. So like what is their transition when they move forward to that next game? Like how does that balance out? Do they then do they give Peter Parker more gadgets, or are you even playing as Peter Parker? It's just, anyway, it's just a weird, another one of those things where it's like, I'm interested to see how they move this game forward going on, considering you're playing as Spider-Man Peter Parker, you've played now as Spider-Man Miles Morales, who is all these crazy insane abilities. How do you then go from that then back to Peter Parker and make him feel even more powerful? Because the thing you talked about last week was like, he's also got camo, he can go invisible. And so if you find yourself in a situation where you're in the middle of a fight and you're struggling, you just hit the camo button, you go invisible and no one can see you. You just get the fuck out of there and heal. What else was there? I played for the most part in performance. Wait, there's 2 modes in the game, performance and fidelity. I played in 30 frames per second with ray tracing on for most of the game. And I think it looks awesome. Like it's got ray tracing, a bunch of ray tracing features in it. And because I think they've done a pretty good job in terms of the combat and the way the game feels at 30 frames per second, it doesn't feel like much of an issue. And I guess that's because I've also played Spider-Man recently, and so I was happy with just going on that 30 frames per second and just playing it that way. Once I did finish the game, I switched it over to 60, and it still looks like great. Still looks great, but you lose a lot of that those extra details in the game, and it runs really well, which is probably the way I'll play it at this stage. And we get to that point where, how do we run games now? Are we going to play it in 30 frames per second, or are we playing with 60? And I think it just depends on the type of game you're playing. Like we'll talk about Demon's Souls soon, and their default way of playing that game is 60 frames per second, whereas in Spider-Man it's 30.
And if you change the cinematic mode in Demon's Souls, you're fucking out of your fucking mind.
Yeah.
I cannot understand why you do it. The difference is so fucking negligible. It is ridiculous.
Yeah, but I feel like in the Spider-Man franchise, it's not really that big a deal. Like it works pretty well, the combat system they've got, and so yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of just like what do you feel like you want to play it as? Uh, anyway, the man, the suits are really cool. The things they do with the suits. That did you end up unlocking the Into the Spider-Verse suit with the
I
mod?
did.
Yeah, that
Yes.
stuff looks really cool. I got the cat suit,
Cat backpack.
cat backpack. Um,
Cat pack.
yeah, that game is just the one thing I don't like about it is they've changed their achievements layout and they made it a lot harder to get achievements this time around, trophies,
Yeah.
and that's a bit annoying because you've got to do some things to get some of those last ones. I think I've got 3 trophies left, and they're kind of like, hey, you need to kill 100 people with venom strikes or with mines or something like that. I can't remember, but it's it's a little bit more difficult to get them, but I'm pretty close. It seems like I don't know, I might go back and might not. But anyway, like I've enjoyed the game. I thought it's really cool. I don't think I've liked it as much as most people. I don't think it's a better game than Marvel Spider-Man, just because I
Yeah.
feel like the story in that game is just so good, and like the build up uh, in that world is really well paced for the most part. Um, yeah, I think there's just a little bit. It's just a bit less going on here. That it's a good starting point. Like if they were to do this, but make it a fully like another 20-hour game or a 25-hour game, like spread it out a bit more, put another 10 hours worth of content in there, would have been story content. That would have been really cool. But yeah, I mean, they're killing it. Insomniac's doing some good stuff, so I'm interested to see what happens next with them. A lot of fun. Any other thoughts? Have you
Yeah.
played any more?
No, I haven't had an opportunity to play or I haven't had an opportunity to finish it yet because I've been playing one other game.
You haven't finished it.
I haven't finished Miles Morales yet.
All
No.
right. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm keen to like chuck it on the fucking pile at this point because good lord, it's just.
Do you know where you are without spoiling it?
Uh, I don't know how to say it without spoiling it. I'm going after. I've infiltrated a
thing.
crew. And,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know you are. Yeah. I think you got a little bit to go.
yeah, I assume I do. But I just keep fucking about and doing other stuff.
Yeah.
Because I just like swinging through the world. Yeah. Anyway.
All right.
What's up next?
I didn't put the time down on this.
Uh-oh.
Call of Duty
Probably,
Black Ops Cold War.
Oh, yeah, see, I want to play this as well. I want to play Assassins. I want to play fucking Cold War's campaign is apparently good. Which, what the fuck?
Who told you
I want to
this?
finish Miles Morales. Nate reckons it's pretty good.
Do you want to talk about it? I can talk about it.
Yeah, of course.
I went on the Call of Duty Modern Warfare review trip last year, and you and I both went on the reveal trip, right? Where they revealed the game and we played a bunch of multiplayer. I really liked Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I think the weakest part of that game was their Spec Ops co-op mode, which is, it seemed like their shit battle royale is not going to be ready. What do we do? And so they threw that in there. Because you remember, like, when we were talking about it on here, I was like, that feels like a battle royale map. And they didn't have the time. And I fucking called it, like, off the bat. And so that, and I really enjoyed the campaign. I think it's, they've done some good Call of Duty games recently. Black Ops and then Modern Warfare, I think, were some of the best ones to come out in the last couple of years. This one, the campaign is okay. It's a spy thriller. It's a lot more low key than some of the other Call of Duty games they've done,
Yeah.
single player games. Like compared to last year, uh, it's a lot more low key in terms of bit slower paced. It's not this giant action movie type spectacle thing. It's it's you and a team going through and doing spy shit. Um, and you kind of the story, I guess, is more interesting than what happened in Modern Warfare, but you kind of see what's going on the moment you fire up this game. You know where this thing is going, right? You've played a Black Ops game before. You understand they how these games sort of sprawl out and what their overall theme is. Like, there's no surprises here, even though they try and hammer it home to you. Like, I bet you didn't see that coming, but it's like, no, I've played these games before. Like, I remember the numbers and things that happened with Mason and like where those games went. It's like, it's a Black Ops game. You're not trying to fool me. And so there's no surprise here at all with the story. I guess the thing that is interesting that they do, and Treyarch has done this a bunch, is their branching storyline mechanics. There are a bunch of sort of like objectives in the game where they'll give you a decision to make. I think the first one you come up across on the very first level is you chase down a guy, and it's like, do you throw him off the building or do you take him back and interrogate him? And that's like the first choice that you make. And there's a bunch of them throughout the game, and I don't think they pay off in interesting ways. Like,
Right.
I mean, I'll put it this way: at the very end of the game, they kind of do a like a "where are they now" type thing. You know, when you finish a fucking movie and it's like it's like you get a bunch of text, and it's like, Jimmy went on to play football, and you're like, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
It's like that, some of it, and you're like, all right, fair enough, cool. That's not a huge deal. And so there are definitely moments in the game that that impact what is going on, but some of them also feel very unimportant. Like, they just do not matter, even though they're trying to make it be a big deal.
Sure.
The types of missions that you go on vary a lot of stealth stuff. There's probably 3 standout missions in that game that I really like. One of them is amazing. One of the missions is amazing. There's another one where it's like you're a character. I won't say who they are, but there are multiple ways that you can sort of finish that level. It gives you, like, you're in a location and it's like, all right, I need to get this objective done. How do you want to do it? And there's like 6 different ways that you can do it. And then you go and do one piece of that objective, and it's like, all right, what's the next step? And then you try and there's like 2 other ways that you can go and complete that next part. That thing is really cool. That is like a departure from anything that I've seen in a Call of Duty in the last couple of years. Just this kind of very fun little choose your own adventure. Like, how do you think this should play out? And is it going to work? So that was really a cool mission. And then there's a mission, I think it's the second last mission. It's nuts. It's crazy. It's really well done. It feels like it shouldn't be in this game. It feels like it's a fucking, like a Ken Levine mission or something like that. Like, it's just bonkers. It's nuts.
It sure sounds like you don't think this is good. You didn't level this much praise at the fucking Modern Warfare fucking campaign. The criticism you've leveled so far is you know where it's going, which
yeah.
So
apart from those 2 missions, everything else is very, well, I think it's mediocre. There's 3 missions maybe. There's another mission. The way it plays out is, again, branching storylines. Depending on what thing you pick at the end, you get 1 of 2 ending missions, and then you can go back and replay them and see how it happens if you pick the other setting. But even that last mission, it's one of them can be finished in 30 seconds. The other one is like not even that. It's like a minute and a half. But yeah, that one of the missions is really quick. It's over and done with. It's not that interesting, and I think that's the point. Is that, like, there's a couple of missions in here that are really cool. Stuff around it is really cool, like the you and your posse, your team. There's a giant board, and there's names that are up there, and you're linking fucking wires together, and you're collecting evidence. And there's stuff that you collect that allows you to go into like side missions, and if you get enough of that evidence, and then you put the pieces together and solve the little like puzzle, then you can go and complete that mission. Like that stuff is really cool. But
That's
the actual
amazing.
like yeah, but the problem is the missions from like mission 1 to mission 2 to mission 3, they're all just not interesting. They're not that exciting. They're very boring. Like there was a lot more interesting stuff going on in Modern Warfare. Like they just felt more impactful. Whereas there's like 2 of them that you're like, that was really cool, but everything else I've done in this game is just so uninteresting and so boring. So that's why I kind of like, whatever. Um, it just didn't do as much for me as what like Modern Warfare did, because I thought they had some awesome missions in that game, like the safe house where you go in and you're in like fucking night vision goggles and you're slowly going through and like clearing out each room from room to room, and people are like hiding under beds and stuff like that. That stuff was really cool. There's nothing.
That was one level.
Yeah, but there's multiple of them. There's stuff that happens throughout that game that is really cool, and here it's just like
Multiple. Like, what is going on? So much of Modern Warfare was tedious as fuck.
no.
Holy shit. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills here. You're like, Modern Warfare did this and this and this, and Cold War does this and this and this. But somehow it's bad when Cold War does it. I just don't understand.
Modern Warfare had consistently good levels, whereas Cold War has uninteresting levels and then like 2 good ones. 2 really good ones.
Extremely concerned about how bad these fucking bad missions must be if you thought Modern Warfare had consistently good missions.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
The first mission in Cold War I failed, I think 4 or 5 times.
Have you considered getting good?
No. And the reason I failed it was because they were just like, oh, you can't shoot that guy because he's the objective. And I'm like, but you've got a giant marker on him and he's shooting me. Like, why can't I shoot him? Oh, okay, I've got to shoot the other guy. It's just like stupid shit like that, or like shooting fucking idiots that are running in front of me in my own team that I can't help. Like, it'll just be a headshot. I'm shooting my gun and he comes out of nowhere, headshot dead. I'm like, okay, cool, that's fun. Yeah, I just don't think the levels are as interesting. We've seen that the one of the first ones they showed, the Fast and Furious mission where you're in a car and you're chasing the plane like that. It's just it's not a good mission. It's so boring. It doesn't play out the same way that you've seen it. You just shoot a bunch of people and you're literally in a car just driving, just shooting cars. You could probably finish that mission without fucking shooting cars because it's just a set piece. It's not fun. Anyway, I think that there's like 2 excellent missions in that game, and the rest of them are just not great. It just seems like they needed that extra year because they were missing a year, right? Treyarch came in and took over from Sledgehammer, and they've had 2 years to make it, and it just feels like they had some, like, they just needed more time on it because it's just so ordinary in some of those missions. Like, it needed more time to flesh out. It's a really short game. You could probably finish the main campaign in about 4 hours, maybe less. It ain't hard. It's not a hard game, but like there's sprinkling, like there's really interesting things that are going. Like, I feel like if they had more time to flesh out that campaign, it would have been amazing. But instead, they had. It felt like they spent a lot of time on that last level, and then we're like, let's work backwards because that last level is fucking bonkers. It is really good. I would like if you don't want to play a fucking 4-hour campaign, just go watch it on YouTube because it's so cool what that last level is doing. And I want to go back and see, like, because I said there's choices you can make in the game, and what happens if you decide to make different choices and that sort of thing, and how that level sort of unfolds would be interesting because Yeah, it's insane. So anyway, that's their campaign. I don't think it's as good as Modern Warfare, but there's definitely some really good, like, 2 missions in there that are awesome that you should check out and see. I just wish it was fleshed out a bit more than what it is, because it's pretty light. What else did we do? We played some zombies. Yeah, I don't like it as much as the last zombies game either.
Fucking cooked, cunt. What the fuck? Just because you're garbage at it doesn't mean it's bad. Luke.
I won all
You're
those
so
games.
used to being good at games and then only playing good game that you have somehow conflated being good at a game with it being a good game. And that is not the case. You are awful at zombies.
I'm amazing. I won every single time.
Some of it might be the ping. But a lot of it is your clear lack of like zombies knowledge. Like, you don't appear to know the best ways to play zombies, because you will pick up a fucking insta kill when there's one fucking zombie left in the fucking wave, and that'll be it. Like, well, all right, well, we pissed away that insta kill.
I like playing games on hard mode.
Fucking good lord. We were playing. Oh, better still, we were playing on hard mode. I don't know if you know this, but we didn't like. There's a pack-a-punch, that thing we go through the portal for, and then we like build something in the center of the area once we turn the power on. That's the fucking pack-a-punch. I couldn't fucking find it. It turns out it's the thing we built. And once you upgrade your weapons, me and Nate were playing with just like 2 of us, as opposed to, like, you know, even without you. And at first I thought things were just going smoother because you weren't there to fuck everything up for us. But it turns out things are going a lot smoother because we were upgrading our fucking weapons at all. We were playing with like completely unupgraded weapons the entire fucking
weapons.
time. Yeah, we still made it a fucking level 23 or some shit. That was a fucking decent effort, considering we had garbage. But yeah.
I just don't think they're fleshed out as much as that last. What they did in Black Ops. There was like 3 missions, 3 different maps in there. They were a lot more detailed. There was. We don't
know how much detail is in these fucking maps yet.
Is there just one map?
This one map? We don't know how much detail there is in this map yet. There's certainly only one map, as far as I can see. Yeah. That is true. I will not dispute that. But the idea that it's not as detailed, I object to that, because we haven't really explored the depth yet. We haven't really fucking gotten into any of the trying to break through the Easter egg stuff. We were too busy trying to play on ultra hard mode by never upgrading our fucking guns, or exclusively upgrading our guns by spinning to win at the mystery box, which is just the worst way to do it.
Guess I got another blue shotgun, green pistol. All right.
Yeah, it was not our most efficient effort, but yeah, like, for the life of me, couldn't. Like, I think the problem was we went to the dummy and found you could upgrade using spare parts, but I saw, like, in my mind, I read that as, okay, that's the way you upgrade in this. They've gotten rid of the pack-a-punch. No, it's still there, and holy fuck, and you can upgrade using points. And it is ludicrous when you do. Yeah.
And there's also 3 currency systems. I don't know why there's 3 currency systems in there either. There's like scrap. There's
rare scrap
coins and points, something. Yeah, it's just like... I just don't think it's as well done. Like, it hasn't been as thought out as well as the last one, where there was...
Played it 3 times on ultra hard mode. Like, this specific criticism of your assessment is going to sound extremely ironic when we talk about the next game, but you played it fucking 3 times on ultra hard mode, and you're like, well, I'm not thinking much about how this is going down. I think we need to play more zombies before you fucking wipe the slate clean and decide to throw out the baby with the bath.
No, I'm just saying, I don't think at this stage it's as good as Black Ops Zombies. in the last one Treyarch did.
All right. I guess. Fine.
Let the records show that I was right.
The record won't show that. That's ridiculous. But anyway.
Yeah.
That's I haven't played any multiplayer in Cold War, so
No, I don't have it installed yet either, which is good because you can choose to not install certain things. But yeah, I installed the campaign and the zombies, and I was good for that stage. Yep. I don't know if I'll play any multiplayer. Might chuck it in there. Check out some of those new modes that they've got now. They've changed a bunch of them, I heard. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, a little disappointed in the campaign. I still enjoyed parts of it. I've had fun with zombies. I just don't think it's as good as the last one. So we'll have to see how it goes. Like once they start rolling out the Black Ops Cold War Warzone stuff, yeah, that'll be cool to see what's going on with that. Because once you play the campaign, you're like, oh yeah, cool. I see what they were kind of doing in Warzone. Like you see threads between Warzone and some of the events they were doing in that, and then what's going on in the campaign for Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. So it's interesting. I definitely recommend to check out that campaign to see some of that mission, because it might be one of the best missions I've seen in Call of Duty in a long time. It's pretty bonkers.
All right.
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
Anything else to add for Call of Duty?
No.
Let's keep going here. One more on the list is Demon's Souls, another PlayStation 5 launch game. You and I are both reviewing this one, as far as I'm aware.
Yep.
I don't think either of us have played Demon's Souls before in the past, and also we haven't talked about our thoughts yet together. So I don't know what you think. You don't know what I think. So this is gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
See if we're on the same page.
Let's see.
Obviously, you and I are pretty big From Software fans.
Yeah.
We got into it, I guess, in Dark Souls 2 was one of the big ones for me.
And yeah, I played a bunch of Dark Souls, but I played through all of Dark Souls 2. I didn't finish Dark Souls 1.
Yeah.
It sort of just dropped off for me. And then I played through all of Dark Souls 2. And then I went back and finished Dark Souls 1. Yeah. And it turned out that I was literally at the last boss anyway.
Yeah.
So, classic. And yeah, but huge fans of FromSoft.
I'll tell you what, this experience for me has been a lot different to the last couple of From Software games I've reviewed, because I think Dark Souls 2 was the last game that I had played where I'm playing at the same time as everybody else. Because I think I've reviewed I reviewed Dark Souls 3, I reviewed Sekiro, Bloodborne before the game was out. I think Dark Souls 3 was like 3 weeks before it was out. And that's a very different experience because you don't have anything to go off. You don't have any guides you can go read. You don't have anything in the world that can help you, like signs that people have written down. Like you're going in blank. And so playing, like I've kind of had different ways of playing that game now, where I've had to go in and just have no idea what anything is or how to accomplish anything. And the other one is the community Dark Souls or From Software experience, where you're talking to people, you're getting all the information in the world, you're looking up guides to try and see what the best way is to beat this boss. And so, yeah, Demon's Souls for me is the first time in a while that I've played a From Software game where I've had that knowledge around me. Being able to be like, oh, how do I do this? And even more interesting, it's in the game now. Like you can go into your PlayStation Plus subscription and be like, give me some hints, and it'll tell you like, here's hint 1, here's hint 2, here's hint 3, try some of these things. Yeah, so that's definitely a different way for me to experience this game. So yeah, I guess both of us have had the luxury of having other people being able to help us out here in terms of what's going on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In saying that, I think who made this Bluepoint? It's not From Software. From what I understand, they're using the original code, and they've gone in and updated a lot of the assets, and that's where most of the work is happening here, is on a visual side. It's an amazing looking game. Looks fantastic. Runs great.
Yeah.
Runs it.
Yeah.
Like I said before, when we're talking about Spider-Man, default mode to play this game is at 60. They have a 30 frames per second mode. You don't need to play it on 30 frames per second because it looks amazing on 60.
After I finished my my review, I went and had a squiz at the Digital Foundry comparison vid. I don't know if you
I haven't had a look at it yet. It was this morning. Yeah.
Yeah. So as a rule, I don't look at other reviews before I've finished writing my own. If I am writing a review, it's just I feel like it negatively impacts my my review process.
Yeah. Because you and I talk about it and you're like, fuck, Luke's actually right. I'm wrong this entire time.
Literally never happened.
It is a bad game. It's not the best game of the year. I was wrong. Once again, I should have listened to him about Call of Duty.
Anyway, but yeah, so I went and had a squiz, and they did a side-by-side comparison of the performance, and it is literally a bit of depth of tessellation. What I think has happened is they have a cinematic mode that they were able to get to run at a chunky 60 frames a second. They were able to do that deep tessellation at about like between 50 and 60.
50, yeah.
Yeah. And they were like, if we hard lock it at 30, then, and we call it a cinematic mode, then people can play that. But the performance mode also never fucking drops. The only time it ever dropped for me was when I initially no, I didn't have any. Which elevator?
I think before you get to the spider,
Stonefang Tunnel. Oh no. Yeah.
The slowdown for me was the what do you call it? The prison. When you load into the prison.
Load into the prison, exactly. Yeah.
Every fucking time. Yeah.
And it lasts for about, I don't know, 10 seconds, and then not even 10. Yeah. Or the other time I had it was I saved the clip on my PlayStation, and I went and watched it, and then when I switched back to the game, it dropped frames.
Right.
I actually had to kill the game and get it back up again. That was in Shrine of Storms. I don't think that's the game. I think that might be some sort of game switcher, because I know that Xbox has been having issues with their game switching as well, and the PlayStation's game switching is far less robust than the Xbox's. So so I don't chalk that one up to Demon's Souls, but play it in fucking 60 performance mode. You will literally not notice any difference. It is the fucking same.
And you'll be like, why was I ever playing this game on 30 anyway?
Right? Yeah.
I played. I think, did I play Sekiro on PC? I can't even remember this stage.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Anyway, I played a bunch of them on PC at this stage, so it's been running great. I don't know why you would pick it any other way, but I think it's an amazing remaster. Like, people are calling it a remake. I don't know if I'd call it a remake.
It's a remaster.
Yeah. They're not changing any mechanics. It's
not changing fucking almost anything.
Yeah.
Like, the list of things that changes they've made is like, you could probably fucking name them on your fingers. What they did? They've fixed an exploit that allowed you to dupe items, which makes sense. They fixed some exploits where you could kill the bosses before you entered the rooms they were in with a bow and a lot of time.
Some quality of life stuff. For a small
Quality of
handful
life stuff, like you can send shit to your storage without having to fucking like leave stuff on the ground and whatever the fuck.
You just press the button.
Yeah, you just press the button. I can't remember what else. I think Lance McDonald did a list.
Right.
But yeah.
But for the most part, it's the visual upgrade. Like they've taken it and it's not like a HD upgrade. Like they've gone in and redesigned stuff, the world and how it looks and all that sort of thing. So I think if you're looking at it purely as a Demon Souls fan and you want the best version of this game that looks amazing, like this is it. They nailed it. That's what you get.
I've seen people complaining about they changed like the art direction.
I don't get that. I think this is like if you showed me this game, and didn't tell me who made it, I'd be like, From Software made this.
1000%.
Yeah.
The people have been like, oh yeah, the new fat officials, they look awful. This is the worst design. And then you go back and look, and they look like fucking racist caricature, like blackface minstrels. And you're like, you wanted them to fucking keep that? Are you fucking out of your mind? How the fuck? If I was like doing art at fucking Blue Point, I'd be like, nah, I'm not
touching this one.
I'm not designing that model. Good lord.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I haven't seen those. I think I've seen like one or two complaints. But that's not from anyone specific. Just as like a.
Oh no, these complaints are unsurprisingly almost always from people who are also upset that you can now play as a woman or some shit. And you're like, I think I'm starting. Or that the first character that you meet is now explicitly a black person, as opposed to just heavily implied to be a black person because he was blue. He was a blue phantom, and you can really tell before. And now they're like, oh, injecting SJW politics. And you're like, you people are unhinged.
Yeah.
None of this matters. All of this is objectively an upgrade, and I'm sure like this was all done in heavy duty consultation with From. From approved all of this shit. It's not like they just fucking went and fucking did it. And they're like called up Miyazaki and they're like, hey cunt, check out what we've done. And he's like, oh, all right. Well, I don't know about some of these changes. I really like the minstrel show shit. No. This is like whenever the thing EA complains about when they make a Star Wars game where they're like, oh yeah, we make any changes at all and we have to send it through 16 layers of fucking Disney and LucasArts because they're going to approve every that's
the wrong shade of blue.
Yeah, I'm afraid that we wanted blue RGB 255 138 139, but that's 138 138 and that way too. So I'm gonna have to get you to start from scratch on that one, and you're like,
okay,
no, that's all. That's basically the situation here. From team approved all this shit, so let it go, cunts.
Yeah.
This is objectively a far better version of a honestly pretty bad game.
A bad game, controversial. I think the thing.
This is the prettiest version of a game I don't like.
Right. Yeah, I think this is a this comes down to you and I not having played the original. And then also like they've improved upon it immensely. Through Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, Sekiro, Bloodborne. They've taken those mechanics. You can absolutely see like it's a time capsule, and they've taken something, the base foundation, and improved upon it immensely. In terms of level design, boss design, mechanics, they've streamlined a bunch of stuff, and I think that if you are looking for a Demon Souls experience, the best place to play it, this is it. But if you're looking at it purely in terms of criticism and how that game plays now, it
Yep.
might be the worst in the franchise.
I agree.
I'm not saying it's a bad game still. I'm just
Yep.
saying, you know, like we're arguing John Wick 2, and John Wick 3, right?
Yes.
I still think
Except,
it's the worst in the franchise.
yeah, right. Like the problem I think we both have is that we never we were introduced when they had fixed a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
And so we've only ever known things like fucking, if you've got like kids who never had to like get up to change the fucking channel on the TV, right? And so if you took them back and you gave them a TV where the only way to fucking change channels was to get up and do it, but it was also in 8K with like HDR10 plus and fucking, or HDR12 or whatever the fuck they're up to now, and like fucking it's doing 120 frames and it's the fucking best screen of all time, but you have to get up and change the fucking channel.
Yeah.
People will be like, this thing is fucking cooked. You're fucking high. And meanwhile, I'd be like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. I remember doing this. It's fine. This is still the best screen I've ever had in my life. This thing is glorious. It's just, yeah, that's not ideal, I suppose. But like, I don't care. Give me that fucking goodness, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem, right? I 100% understand that our perspective is mildly skewed, but at the same time, we're hardly the only fucking people. That game didn't sell like
they were niche games. Dark Souls and Demon Souls were niche games.
That franchise didn't blow up until
Dark Souls 2.
Yeah,
like
at
after
least
Dark Souls 2.
Yeah. And yeah, so we're hardly the only people who never experienced Demon Souls. You couldn't even fucking buy it like in Australia for like a full year after it came out or whatever the fuck. I actually have a copy because it's this exact same way I wound up getting fucking Dark Souls is because my twin brother was visiting and we were like in the city wandering around, killing a bit of time, and we went into a JB Hi-Fi. And he's like, "Oh yeah, you got to get this game," and it was fucking Demon Souls. And I'm like, "All right, I'll do that." And we cracked it, took it home, cracked it into the PS3. I'm like dead in a fucking heartbeat. I'm like, "Yeah, not really the mood I'm going for right now. Why don't we just play like, I don't know, Rock Band or some shit, SingStar probably." And we got drunk, play SingStar instead, and then I never fucking touched it again. But he raved about it. He raved about Demon Souls. He is gonna fucking hate my review when he reads it. I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, right? Like, all we've got to go on is the fact that we have played these games with all of their improvements. And so all you can see when you play Demon Souls is a fucking laundry list of like shit they've done better. Like,
but how can you not see that? Even though you've played, like, you going back and being like, "Oh yeah, all this stuff was fixed." Well, not fixed, but they've improved upon it in the next couple of games. And I don't think that's bad criticism. Like, they fixed it. Like, it's literally something they went and did.
Yeah. I write it in my review, right? I love my little hypothetical arguments, but I write like specifically, if this system is actually good, why do we never see
it
it again? Because, maybe because it's bad.
Yeah.
Maybe because this is a bad system. Maybe fucking inventory management is a really dull fucking way to do any of this shit.
Did you feel that?
Hey?
Todd Howard, I felt like he rolled over for a second there.
we were waking him
He
from
was
his
like,
slumber.
what? Someone just said my name. Someone was shitting on inventory management.
I don't fucking think so. And then crash open the fucking, smash through the fucking window, crash open the door, and like, oi, 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 and they beat the shit out of me. I wake up on a fucking cart.
It's dumb.
Somewhere. Yeah, anyway, inventory management. Holy fuck, I could not believe. The first time it came up, I absolutely 100% was paying a lot of attention to my,
what you were wearing.
Weight. Yeah.
I was like, where is all this? Why am I so fucking fat? I was fat rolling for half of that game. I didn't know I could roll properly. I just thought this is how I rolled.
Fucking, yeah. It comes up and it's like, you've exceeded, if you pick this up, you'll exceed storage or some shit. Do you want to send it to you? Me too. Me too. I'm like, this doesn't feel like a good time. And then eventually I just got good at pressing X and start. Like, anytime I saw anything, I wasn't even fucking, it didn't matter. None of this shit mattered. I knew what I needed. I had this stuff on me. Fuck the rest of that stuff. Like, yeah.
And then on top of that, you can put things like crafting materials in your inventory storage space and still use them. They don't need to be on you.
Yeah.
So
in that situation, it just feels like, so
I'm just moving shit around. I'm just moving stuff around.
Okay, well, I'll just get somewhere safe and spend the next fucking 2 minutes pressing X, send to storage. X sends to storage. Oh, sorry. X sends to storage. How many? Confirm how many. X sends to storage max. X send to storage max. Yeah, this is fucking engaging. I'm feeling fucking good about this. This is so much better. I'm so glad that they've finally brought this back in Demon's Souls, because it was definitely missing from every other fucking Souls game. Pointlessly fucking emptying my bag. So fucking dumb. So anyway, so that's the worst, and I hate it. But I guess you got to keep it in there because you're remastering this game.
Oh yeah, because you change that, people would be.
You got to give people some reason to go talk to Storage Thomas.
Yeah.
I love their names. I love their naming system in Souls games. They're so bad at. We are of the same energy. I am the worst at fucking names. Like, A, my nickname is Joby, and B, like, anytime I make a character in any game and I am not using Joby, it is whatever I've seen recently. Mouse Bottle. It's me, Joe Mouse Bottle. That's me. Either that, or if it's a lady, I call her Dr. Chase Meridian, because she's an all-timer. But yeah, it's like, I don't know, man. There's so much in it that I'm just very glad doesn't exist. I mean, it feels like, the thing is, right? I said it's a great version of a bad game. It's not a bad game. It's like you said. This is like comparing the John Wick franchise, right? It's just got some really bad elements.
Maybe
some
John
really
Wick is bad.
Elements. Right, like because John Wick doesn't have any really shitty elements. But I guess Ruby Rose. But apart from her,
but you look at like. I was playing this game, and I think I messaged you guys, and I was like, where the fuck are the bonfires? Like, the first level, the palace, I was playing so cautious, because I'm like, I've been playing this fucking level for 40 minutes. I'm not dead yet, but how the fuck do I get back here? What is going on? Did I miss the bonfire? No.
Yeah.
There aren't any bonfires in this game. Holy shit.
Which is hyper-cooked.
But on saying that first level is kind of like a baseline of the way that the franchise. I don't know what you call it, man. I wrote in my review. I wrote the Souls franchise. I feel like that encapsulates because I don't want to
I
write
refuse to.
Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro. Like it's a
Some
pain.
people go with like Soulsborne,
Yeah,
right?
but then that's
But
Sekiro.
that gives too much weight to Bloodborne, and
Yeah.
it doesn't deserve it. Bloodborne's a Souls game, and it can just fucking deal with it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
But like you sort of exploring this world and then understanding that there's shortcuts here, and it's taking me back to I don't know what that thing is called, the Arkstone. And
the bonfire.
it's a bonfire.
It's a fucking bonfire.
Right. And then you finish that first level and you're like, oh yeah, cool. I get it. Like, fair enough. I understand. But then you start getting deeper in the game and it doesn't do that anymore. Like now all of a sudden it's a linear level and you're going from point A to point B and you're just slaying things and getting past them, getting to the boss, dying, and then going, all right, you got to go back to start. And it's not a hassle killing these things because you can do it pretty easily, but it's killing a bunch of these things and then getting back to the boss. Whereas in future games, they've understood like, all right, unlocking shortcuts and putting bonfires here, and like it just felt more.
What level are you
more,
talking about?
that,
So
there's a bunch.
I felt like it was mostly unlocking shortcuts.
Like the level I'm on now. Oh shit, I can't think of it. The one with the Reapers.
Yeah, fuck that level. That
The level before that.
Holy shit! That level, 4-2, it's called, or the Adjudicator Archstone. That level might be the worst level in any Souls game.
Okay.
And I fully understand the weight of what I'm saying in that. It's not the worst boss fight, because that will always be the better chaos. Nothing can ever fucking compare to that. Even the last boss fight in Demon Souls, which is, I'll let you find out about that, but it's not great. It's still not worse than better chaos, but yeah. Fuck.
But what I'm saying is that there's sprinkles of those types of levels, these linear levels where you're going from point A to point B. The level before that, for 4-1, I'm assuming is what it is. There's a
Shrine of Storms.
That's a very linear level. There's a boss blocking your view, but you kill him and you're pretty much going from point A to point B. Like there's not really any shortcuts. Like there's sprinklings
but
of that
boss
in there.
Is the shortcut, right? Like
sure.
Sort of.
But I killed him in
killing
one go,
him is the shortcut.
and I'm still
There is a very. Do you know there's like a huge level skip area, like an area for a level skip? You can skip 90% of the level. So I co-op that.
Which mission? Which level?
4-1, Shrine of Storms. You can skip a shit ton of it. So I had to play that level in jolly cooperation because of the other huge fucking flaw in Demon Souls, which is the world tendency. I don't know if you've encountered this at all.
I don't understand it.
No, because it's not even a little bit explained. It is when something is deliberately obscure for the purposes of being frustrating, you would call that obtuse, right? Yeah. That's what this is. World tendency is obtuse. It is just bad. It is bad. And lo and behold, why? Like, if you like it, why did we never see it again? Or when we did see it again, and this is in my review, why did we see it? Why did we see its impact in Covenants? The reason is because you have to actively engage with and join a covenant. That is a personal, active player choice, not something you can do accidentally that fucks your game to the point of near no return, which is what I did to myself. I was farting my way through the Shrine of Storms. I noticed that the skellies, because I big dicked this game. So allow me to clarify up front that I'm not saying I'm not saying the game fucked me. I fucked the game up. It is entirely my fault. There's no question about that. I am owning up to that entirely, but like it was via my actions, through my actions, that the game got fucked, right? 100% cop to it. I absolutely do, but nevertheless, it should not have resulted in me being punished in this form because I can't have known at the time that what I was doing was leading to this punishment. Every other time you are punished in a Souls game, including Demon Souls, it is very obvious what you're being punished for. You're being punished for running up a set of stairs and trying to roll past an enemy and slipping off the edge and dying to gravity. Punished for it. You're being punished for taking that extra swipe when you shouldn't have taken it and getting hit one too many times and dying. Punished. You're being punished for trying to run back to your souls too quickly and making a fatal error that means you lose all of them. You're like punished, and you know why you're being punished. And the appeal of a Souls game is that you know enough that you can rectify or not make that same mistake again. Or if you do make that same mistake, you understand the fucking gravity of the situation, the weight of it. You know what you did. But with World Tendency, you've got no fucking hope if you haven't fucking looked up a guide. And I was trying to play this game. We didn't really talk about it. But
up. Yeah.
Exactly. I had a Kleb very helpfully gave me a brief. There's like a guide you can get that sort of very briefly tells you what you need to do, and it's like go to World 1-1, finish World War 1-1, finish World 1-2, find this character, beat this boss, go to World 2-1. Find this character, go to World, beat this boss, go to World 3-1. And it goes through like that. It doesn't say, now turn left, go up the stairs, kill 3 enemies, find this item, etc., etc. Hit this wall to find a secret door or something like that. It doesn't say anything like that. Because what I want is the fucking barest, right? We've definitely spoken about this before. I'm pretty sure I've talked about it in reviews of Souls games and stuff. I don't know. We've definitely talked about it again before, but playing a Souls game, you exist on 2 ends of a spectrum. You're either an explorer or a tourist, and nobody is like full one or the other unless like they have 100% like committed to that concept. Like when we play the games before they're out, right? We are full blown explorers. But even then, like I remember, with all of the ones that I played,
the lava level in Deep Dark Souls, where you're like, "What are you talking about, you dickhead? There's no lava level."
Yes. Like you wind up in these situations where like you're still talking about it. So you're not 100% explorer. You get like there's little parts. You know something from someone who's gone before, people who've gone to different areas before you, and you share that knowledge. You can be a full-blown tourist if you just, watch someone play it online, because then you give away voluntarily the dexterity portion of the game. But yeah, everyone exists somewhere in between. You can be mostly a tourist by following that in-depth guide that tells you where to turn, when to hit, and all that kind of shit. Or you can be mostly explorer by not using any guide at all. And me, I would say I stray towards explorer, but I'm not ashamed to do a bit of tourist stuff. I'm not fucking whacking away weeds to get through the fucking jungle. I'm going down a path that someone has already cut. And it's still a dangerous path, but I'm not discovering it for the first time. I'm not creating the fucking path myself. Anyway, the point I'm making is that I was playing in a way that did not explain what World Tendency was. And what happened is I noticed that the Silver Skeletons of World 4-1, Shrine of Storms, would roll up to me, and then when they hit me, if they hit me, they would kill me in one hit. I was one shot. Even with the cling ring on, I was a one shot. But if I went to human form, and fucking anyone who's played Demon Souls knows what's coming now. If I went to human form, I would die in 2 hits. I had just enough health that I could survive a single hit, provided they didn't, clip me when they rolled into me with their swords, which does happen and is annoying, but it is what it is. So I played through it, and I had a fuck ton of those ephemeral eyes, and so I just pop one. When I died, I'd get a bit further, I'd pop one, I'd go back in again, and I decided to quit the level and go somewhere else when I was going through the fucking tunnels underneath, and one of the fucking skellies hit me through the wall with a sword and it killed me, and I'm like, fuck this shit. I'm not staying here. I'm gonna go away and come back. I'm too fucking grumpy at this level at the moment. And so I went away, and I went and beat 3-1, the Tower of Latria, the prison level. Went and beat it, walloped it. Pretty easy.
I did that in one go.
I think it took me 3 attempts, but the run back wasn't that difficult, and those fucking octopus face dudes were actually pretty good.
They're harder than the boss. That was harder than the boss for me.
Oh, I found them super easy, and they kept dropping spice, which as a magic primarily magic user, I needed a lot of spice. A lot of enemies are easier as a magic user. It turns out being a magic user is easy mode.
I had to look up how to use magic in the game because I've never used magic in a Souls game before. I had to look it up 3 times as well, because each time that I did it, I'm like, I've got a staff and I still can't use this fucking thing. And then eventually I was like, I need a talisman. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Because all I'm using is, what's it called? Is it evacuate? It sort of just teleports you back to the Nexus without spending your souls. It's just
okay.
If I ever found myself in a situation where I was like, I want to go back to base. I've got a bunch of souls. I could probably level up. I don't really want to die here.
Right.
That's the only time I would use my magic.
A
sword and shield, dude.
Yeah. I'm in New Game Plus now, and I'm still using the buckler that you get at the start of the game as my shield, because it's got a huge parry window, and so I got that. I got a Crescent Falchion +5, which you can get one of from the Shrine. You get the +1 version from the Shrine of Storms, and it scales on magic damage.
Oh right, yeah.
So it's about as good as your sword would be, basically. For you, scaled off strength, I'd wallop you about as hard if you got hit by me. I mean, the fucking flip side is that you're probably wearing armor, and I'm not.
I had armor on. This is what I was talking about. I was fat rolling everywhere, and I could never find any armor that was as good. I think that's another thing, is the game doesn't give you too good a reason to switch stuff that you've got. Whereas in the other games, I'm like, oh yeah, this is new sword. I think I can do something with it, or new armor. Whereas I think there's one other armor set, heavy armor set that I found, and it was pretty similar to what I've got. I've just switched away from it to leather armor so I could roll properly. I've never had to use it still, but I just don't think that it gives you good incentive to switch any of that stuff. I used my default sword for most of my playtime. I only just switched to a new sword a couple levels ago.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so I go through the Tower of Latria. I beat her in a couple of attempts. And I'm like, hey, well, I've done that one. I skipped it because I wanted this Crescent Falchion I was playing, and Barry McBruce is like a Demon Souls fiend, and he was like, "Oh, you've got to go get this sword if you're playing a magic user. It is the fucking tits, man." And so I went and got the sword in Shrine of Storms. Went to Tower of Latria, and then I go back to Shrine of Storms, and as soon as I spawn in, this red phantom fucking sprints over to me and one-shots me. I'm in human form. So I was surprised to be one-shot. I also had upgraded my vitality by like 2 points. So I was even more surprised to be one-shot. But nevertheless, I get one-shot. I'm no longer in human form. I'm straight to Souls form. And I'm like, what the fuck just happened? I attempt to beat him a couple of times. It doesn't go so well. I'm like, he's just relentless. And he dodges all of my attacks, and he's just like up in my fucking shit. I've got like Soul Ray, which is I think the fastest firing fucking spell in the game. Like, and it belts. It's like Soul Arrow, but fucking better. I'm casting that. It's not fucking like he keeps dodge rolling away, and I'm just in a fucking pickle. And then I managed to get him down to like fucking 5% health, and he heals back to full. And I'm out of mana, and I'm out of fucking options. I'm like, Barry, what the fuck has happened? He's like, oh yeah, your world tendency's gone full black.
But how did you do that?
Dying in human form. If you die in human form, like 8 or 9 times in a level, I think it's 9 times. It goes to full pure black tendency, and more enemies spawn in. Every enemy hits harder. Every enemy has more health, and you have proper fucked your game.
You're right. I don't run around in human form, so I don't.
Well, I wasn't either, except for the fact that I made the connection between being able to live through 2 hits from these fucking skellies and needing to actually somehow get through this thing, when as a fucking magic user, like, I don't know, fucking 6 or 7 of the fucking enemies are in tunnels. So I don't really have the space to fucking, like, they roll up on you as soon as they fucking aggro you or see you. And I'm a magic user who can't get enough fucking separation to cast a fucking spell. So half the time I will take a hit before I get my fucking spell off, and I need to be able to fucking do something about that. And so yeah, I'm like, well, I need to be able to live through that first hit. So I'll pop a humanity, or whatever the fuck they're called in this, the ephemeral eye. Pop a fucking ephemeral eye, and I'll live. That makes sense. Like, in my mind, the cost was the existential threat of being invaded, which could have happened, and I would have been okay with that, because you only get invaded when you're a human, or against a certain boss fight. And the other one was I would be expending all of my ephemeral eyes, which would be, that's the cost, right? They're not. I have a lot of them, but they're not. I don't have infinite amounts. I can't do this forever. I will have. I think I had like 15, right? I'm like, I'll have 15 attempts, and if I can't do this, then I can't do it. Anyway, so pure black world tendency meant that this dude would spawn in and wallop me. I had my fucking buckler. When I could parry him, and when I did parry him, I would do about 15% health on a riposte, which is not nearly enough. If I didn't parry attack, I would do about 2% health on a swipe. So my options were pretty fucking limited. I couldn't hit him with the magic unless he stopped fucking rolling. I couldn't fucking. I needed, I think it was 8 successful parries in a row. But if I failed even one of them, I would die. I was in a spot of bother. And if I got all 8 successful parries in a row, when I got to the 7th one, he would heal back up to full, and I would need another 8. And so, yeah, I'm like, I don't know. This game seems broken. I couldn't run past him, which is what you do in a Souls game when you encounter an enemy you don't want to have to fucking deal with, like the fucking Dark Wraiths in 1. In 1, the dudes who like fucking grab you and steal your humanities. Couldn't run past them. Although, because when I got past him, well, first of all, there was a skelly next to him, so I also couldn't fight. I had to fight him in a fucking phone booth, because if I went too close to the skelly, I'd aggro that as well, and then I'd have to deal with that. I couldn't. If I ran past him, there were extra fucking skellies up the fucking stairs that I had to get past. I'm like, okay, well, I don't think I can finish this game because I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to do here. Like, theoretically, my only option is to beat every other level in this game and level up immensely so I can beat this guy. He's not supposed to exist at the point that I fought him. He has a higher health pool than the boss of Shrine of Storms, the boss of the level that he's in. He had as much health as the boss I literally just beat in Tower of Latria. Like, he's not supposed to exist at the point that I was in the game. Blah, blah, blah. Fucking Lobos could beat him, as a 1-bro or some shit and get his sword and, okay. The best Souls streamers in the world, happy, horrible, fucking whatever, could do it without ever getting hit, and you're just shit, Joab. I don't give a fuck. It doesn't matter. That's not the way that Souls games are built, right? They're not built upon systems that punish you for actions you like without telling you you're making a mistake. And you can tell that your tendency is going to pure black because the little icon up in the fucking corner shifts color. But there's like fucking 10 grades of color, and it is extremely gradual fucking shift that you don't even fucking notice. Or you could have gone to the menu, the tendency menu. Again, the same fucking thing. It doesn't explain the concept of world tendencies on the tendency menu. So I don't think I could have understood. It didn't seem to me, right, like there was a fucking way out for me to understand this. And again, we wind back to, why did we never see world tendencies again in any other fucking Souls game? Because fucking FromSoft know that system is fucked. It is a badly designed system, and they know it. And so they got rid of it, or they changed it into a system where you actively have to engage and accept the consequences of your decisions. Like, it's pretty cool. Anyway, I played through that level with Kleb. Yep. This was the 40-minute long point of this story. I played through this level with Kleb because I summoned Kleb in as for some jolly cooperation. He had a new character that he'd started who was low enough level to actually join me.
Yeah.
Summoned him in. We walloped this dude. It took 2 attempts. But the trickiest part was making sure we were doing damage while he was trying to heal, which was always the trickiest part. The upside was that I had enough fucking mana left to really pull out all the stops. Like, instead of when I had to do it on my own, I had to be conservative with my fucking magic so I could pull out all the stops when I got to the point where he was about to heal, because then I had to really fucking wallop to stop him from doing it. No, with Kleb there, it was fine. Got through it, killed him, rolled on up, and if you go all the way up onto the tower, where those archer dudes shoot you, the archer skellies shoot you from, if you go over the other side, you can like sprint roll onto the wall and then drop over the wall, and it's a shortcut, sort of, but you'd somehow have to, like, it certainly looks like a glitch to me, but yeah, you can then, like, there's 2 more enemies before the boss, and you're at the boss fight, and you can do the boss fight. We did the boss fight in one attempt. I probably didn't even need Kleb for that. He was extremely weak to being lasered in the face by my soul ray, and he didn't really have the capacity to fucking do anything about me. So that boss got walloped, and then Kleb went away, and on I went into 4-2, the worst level in the fucking game. What a piece of shit level. What a fucking dog turd level. Where are you up to in it? Adjudicator Archstone.
I can kill the Reaper easily. I did all the patches stuff. And then I've gone outside. You get shot by the fucking flying squids, who are the most annoying things in the world. And then there's a couple skeletons that you can kill. I've killed them. And I think there's 2 more gold skeletons with big swords. I think that's where I got to, and I stopped playing at that point. I haven't gone. I only died once there or something, but that's about where I'm at.
Well, it gets so much fucking worse.
Yeah.
All of that is actually pretty much fine. You know, the Reaper's not that bad. Not that big a headache. His big lumbering Slenderman dude's not that big a headache.
I think I can 3-shot him and he's dead straight away.
Yeah. The flying manta rays are pretty fucking annoying. If you wear the thief ring, they most of the time won't aggro you. Skelly's on a fucking narrow cliff, pretty annoying. But yeah, not that bad. No. Once you get past those 2 gold skeletons, that level nosedives so fucking fast. It is ridiculous. I hated that level. I'm so glad that the boss at the end of it is pointless, utterly pointless. What a waste of time he is. I don't know. I don't know how you'll go with him because you've got a different build, but a lot of bosses in Demon Souls seems to be completely useless against any kind of fucking magic. And
yeah, I think that's a thing, right? Is that this game again sort of goes back to the level design being not as good as the following games, and so you lose that tendency to jump into boss fights and be like, all right, cool, like that learning ability of getting in there and learning the movesets and what it's weak to and what you should be doing, because a lot of the focus is put onto the fucking getting to the fog door, getting to the gate, because it's such an effort sometimes because you're battling through all these enemies all the time. And so it becomes a point where I'm like, I'm not going to fight these enemies. I'm just going to run past them. Fuck it. Like, I'm just not having fun here. And so, and then you get into the boss fight and you see the progress that they've made in the other games on boss fights, because we're back at like, there's a couple of instances where there's phased boss fights, but it's not really phased boss fights. They're not like changing giant movesets or anything like that.
No.
That occasionally they'll, I don't know, the Tower of Lathria, the level after that, there's a boss fight. Something happens in that boss fight. I don't want to talk about spoilers, but like there are a couple boss fights that you go through where certain things do happen, but it's not like Dark Souls 3 or something, or Sekiro, where there's phase modes and they change their movesets so that you can't just do the same thing over and over again, right? Because that is the majority of the boss fights in this game. You find the one weakness and you exploit it for fucking 5 minutes. And
Yep.
that's a boss fight. And once you figure out that weakness, it's kind of easy.
Comically simple. Yeah.
Right.
Like,
And I know, yeah, and I know you're not a huge fan of phased boss fights, but it sort
dude.
of it sort of shows you like how much those boss fights have evolved. And even though I can play a boss fight in Dark Souls 3 and die 20 times, I'm still having more fun in those fights than I am in the fights in Demon Souls, where I'm dying 4 times, but I'm just doing the same thing every single time. Like, I'm just rolling out and then hitting the thing and then walking behind it. And like, there's no variety in it, right? They're not as exciting. And so I think even though like I'm okay with the phased fights, I enjoy the part where it's like you think you're about to do something and then it changes its moveset. All of a sudden it becomes quicker and it's doing an extra type of hit, and you've got to try and then, all right, now how do I work out that pass? To me, it's like a puzzle. Like you're trying to solve the problem.
My problem with phased boss fights, right? I don't hate phased boss fights. I hate the I'm dead, lol, now I'm back. That's what I hate.
They only do that like once or twice.
In Sekiro.
It's amazing when it happens in Sekiro the first time.
The first time, yes. The last boss fight where it happens 18 times, not so much. Yeah, like it just they've used that trick too many times, in my opinion. No, I like. Generally, I like when you have a boss fight where you knock off. I don't know, you knock off their helmet, and then suddenly they're like, "Oh,
their weakness." So yeah,
right,
we cut its tail off or something like that.
Yeah, or like no, I'm talking about the ones where they power up, and they're like, "Oh, now I got to take it serious." You get them to like half health, and now they've got a different moveset. I like that. It does not happen here. Mostly, that like I guess you could make an argument for it sort of happening.
Sure.
In a couple of one case, maybe.
Yeah, but it's not like those other games where it's that's the thing. That's what it does.
Exactly. Yeah, you find that one thing and you do that one thing, and that's it.
But you can in those fights in the future games, you find that one thing and you do it 5 times and you get it to the next part, and then you've got to find the next thing, and then you get to the next part, and it's these. Yeah, they're structured differently. Where in Demon Souls, you find the one exploit and you're like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna do this for the rest of the fight.
Yeah, exactly. And Barry put it pretty well that the like Demon Souls, it's the level. The level is the boss.
Yeah,
and the boss is just the finish line. And yeah, I don't like that as a design philosophy.
No, because honestly. Like I said before, the most part, the enemies aren't a hassle. Like they're just a thing in the way of you getting to the level, to the boss.
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? That's a Dark Souls philosophy. That's a Dark Souls mentality. Is like the level is just there to stop you from the fog door, to slow your journey to the fog door. Whereas in Demon Souls, the level is there, and the fog door is there, is your fucking bonfire. It's just there to be a bonfire. They want you to enjoy the level, and that I think is a huge problem in Demon Souls, because I didn't enjoy a handful of levels. Some of them I fucking loved.
There's some that are amazing. I think the first level is really good. That the Tower of Latria, the second one, 4-2. Was that the one you said?
3-2.
I need to look it up. On also this thing, fucking 4-2-1-1. That is dumb. The structure of the game of being like you can play it in any order, but here's the order you should play it in because people have played it. Like that is a giant pain in the ass. It's so ridiculous.
Also, it's not like you should play it in this order. Like you should play it in the order listed because it gets progressively cuntier the higher up the chart you get. Like, except for the stitch up of 4 being so far below 5. 5 as a like an entire run is hilariously simple. It's just annoying because you get poisoned, but you don't even get poisoned that fast, and everyone drops so many of those fucking flowers that by the time you like run through it, you've already got enough poison cure for like 15 years.
Right.
Ridiculous. But yeah, 4 is the enemies in 4 are so much harder than anyone in 5. 4-1 is harder than anyone in 5, 2 or 3 or whatever the fuck. That's a stitch up. But anyway, yeah. No, I did not like the ordering. I couldn't work out where I was supposed to go. I did 1, and then I did 1, 2, and then it wouldn't let me go through 1 to 1, 3 because the fog was closed or some shit. And I'm like, well, what the fuck am I supposed to do? I don't really understand.
Yeah.
And
the thing we're talking about, people don't know, the 1-1 is like the level naming convention that people in guides have given them, and they're like, this is the order that you should play this game, which I looked up because I didn't know.
Yeah,
what I should be doing.
I'm very used to it now because I've been talking about the game with other people, and this is the language that they use to describe it. But yeah, like I don't know. I think Dark Souls did well, designed better. Dark Souls 2 was a little bit more, like almost a little bit closer to Demon Souls, really, because there were these separated levels, although it like took you in a linear path to them.
Yeah, you're walking through them. You weren't touching a shrine and being teleported. You were just...
Bloodborne does it like Demon Souls a bit with the gravestones in that Hunter's Lodge or whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah.
But I didn't hate it.
No, it's structured better.
Bloodborne, because it sort of had a linear consistency, a logic to it.
Yeah.
Anyway. 4-2. Shit level. Adjudicator Archstone. Shit level. But yeah, no, there were some levels that I fucking loved. Some boss fights that were really cool. I loved that. Have you done, was it 3-3? Man-Eater Archstone? After the Man-Eater fight?
Yeah, I think I have. Man-Eater?
Yeah?
Yeah. Let's go. Let's say yes.
Not the fight, but after the fight. Man-Eater is the Gargoyles. Tower of Latria.
Oh, no, that's where I'm at the moment.
Go to that. That's fucking amazing. That is an amazing. I mean, the run's a cunt. The run-up is a cunt, but it's short.
That's the one. No, that's easy. That's the one problem I have with that fight is getting past the red squid man who's always there, and I don't know why he won't disappear. I kill him all the time. He just keeps spawning back. He's a red phantom.
No. After the Man-Eater fight...
I'm not past it, so I don't know.
Oh, you haven't killed the gargoyles yet?
No, I just got there. Like, I'm sort of in 2 areas at the moment.
The next one after that, it's like you've got to kill, I think, 8 enemies, and then you're at the boss door. But it's still amazing. It's still pretty rad.
The problem I have with the gargoyle fight is that, and this is why I left, I don't know if it was broken, but he kept landing on top of a statue, and because I'm a sword dude, I can't hit him, and I don't know what was going on.
He certainly didn't land on any statues for me. He was fucking up in like shit.
I think it was a statue. You know, there's like, it's a very long, narrow bridge type thing, and there's these pillars on each side, and they just keep going. I think there's like statues or something above them, but he kept going up in the sky, flying down, and like landing on them, and I couldn't hit him because he was kind of just up there, and I'm like, cool, all right. And then something else happened, and then I was like, all right, this isn't cool. And then I went and did it again, and the same thing happened, and I left because I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing here. I can't
Maybe he gets to a phase. They die real quick to fire, and by the time I got to this point, I had a spell. That turned the entire fucking world into fire. So they died. I can't hit
him, so
he died instantly.
Yeah,
for me.
Maybe I need a bow and arrow or something. Anyway,
yeah, maybe. You should definitely have bow around. What the fuck? Absolutely.
All right. Is there anything else you wanted to add about Demon Souls? I feel like we're sounding pretty negative about it. Like I did not dislike my time. I'm just like I've had this ice cream before and it was better somewhere else. If we want to talk about food.
That's it. That's exactly it. That's 100% it. Like there's loads that I really fucking like about it. And if you have a PlayStation 5, I don't think you're going wrong in getting it because it's the best looking and best performing fucking next gen game, in my opinion. There's no game that does both of those things at the same time. Like runs 60 in 4K, 1440p, and looks as good as it does. It's fucking awesome. But yeah, I think it's important that you go in knowing
it's a 10-year-old game.
It's a product of its time. Yeah, exactly. It is a decade old, and if you've played any other Souls games and not this one, what you're running into is a situation where, like you said, you've had this ice cream before better elsewhere. Yeah, there have been significant improvements since, and all you're going to do, or all I did, is sat there and thought, wow, gee, I wonder why this didn't fucking rear its head again. Wow, yeah, crikey. How about that? Or, in the case of enemies who hit you through walls, I can't believe
I've had that happen.
But it happened in Dark Souls 3 as well. Like, yeah, it's just something that fucking happened inexplicably because it just shouldn't. It's a bummer that it's still in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
like I said, I think it's an excellent remaster. You're getting that game, better visual fidelity, runs amazing, but you're also getting the game that was delivered at its time. It probably an excellent game when it was released, but they've learned a lot. They've incorporated all these different types of mechanics that they've improved upon. And so going back and playing it, you're like, oh yeah, cool. I get it. But also like analyzing this game critically now and picking apart a lot of the systems, you can see it. You can see the problems. And if you and I went and played Dark Souls 2, we'd probably see the same thing. Like I had when I played Dark Souls a couple of years back, I was like, yeah, okay, I'm seeing the differences between this and the other games. And you start to, that's just the way you look at things. You can see the improvements they made, and that's what my review is for. I'm not going to be here to praise how amazing this game is and then not look at all the mechanics that are sort of a bit outdated at this stage.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, and I don't know if you've done much PvP, but you can cast a spell called Second Chance.
Yeah.
It's a miracle where when you die, you get res to 50%.
Yeah.
And it is utterly dog shit that it is not only common, but considered to be par for the course to cast Second Chance when you invade someone's fucking world. That's just horseshit. Get the fuck out of here. Holy fuck. Fucking back in my day, you didn't even Estus Flask as an invader unless you saw the fucking hosted Estus Flasking. You know what I'm saying?
Like, I missed the flask. Missed that so much. Because again, it allows you to experiment more, right? Because you're not wasting resources. And
the strong upside to being a extremely squishy magic user was that if I got hit at all, I was dead. So yeah, I really, really should have upgraded vitality more than I did, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That's Demon Souls. Like we said, we sound like we're a bit down on it. That's not what we're trying to put across. I'm enjoying it. Picking it apart.
I scored an 8.5.
That might be higher than mine.
Maybe. I honestly, like, if we can go inside baseball for a moment, I found it really fucking tough to work out how to review a remaster. I just found that to be a big challenge, in my opinion, because like, you know, where do you draw the line between criticizing the product as a whole and like revering the ability for Bluepoint to remake this game, evidently very faithfully, while also like upgrading everything about it, except for the gameplay,
the things they needed. Like, why? At what stage does Sony buy these guys? It's just like, fuck it, let's bring them on.
Yeah.
Like, it's got to happen, right? If Sony's not already actively engaging and trying to get From Software, Bluepoint might be a good start to try and get them in to just give them either their own project or have them just be like, we're the studio that's going to do upgrade, like ports or remasters, because that's pretty much what they've been doing for their entire career, right? And they're clearly very good at it. So yeah, I feel like this is a good showcase thing. Like, it wouldn't be surprising if they were picked up by Sony at some stage. All right, should we move on to some news? We got some things here to talk about. Not a lot, but there's a few things. Star Wars Squadrons is getting an update, Joab. This is after they were basically pretty adamant in saying that this game was done. No more future patches. They weren't supporting it anymore. It's over. We're now, I think, 7 weeks post-launch. No, maybe longer. Something like that. And they've confirmed today that they're adding free DLC, free content to the game. Big Wing, TIE Defender, new maps, custom matches, and this is all coming. First update is next week, and then following from that, there'll be another one in December. Is it too late? Is this already, the ship has sailed? The spaceship has sailed.
I know you think it has.
I think it has, yeah.
I'm keen to dip back into it when things quiet down a bit. We talked about it on the Discord a little bit, but honestly, the repeated announcements that they were no longer doing anything with this game, like after it's released, it's a self-contained thing, and everyone knew that going in, blah blah blah, and he's still saying it. Like, the producer's still saying that in the fucking tweet about this.
Yeah.
Which is fucking... We released Squadrons as a self-contained game, and we're clear about that up front. But thanks to an amazing outpouring of love and support from our fans, we're going to add even more stuff to the game for free. And it's like, I am fucking super grateful that you're doing this. Like, 100%. That's fucking sick.
Yeah.
But also... I would have not burned out on this game as quickly as I had if you would just stop fucking saying you're never supporting this game again.
Right.
And I can't believe
it's a time investment, right? If you're putting time into a game that is never going to get updated again, there's no more new content coming. What's the point?
What's the point?
Right? Like a multiplayer game?
Yeah, it's a multiplayer game. Like, if it was a single player. If they've released Jedi Fallen Order and they were like, and we will never be doing anything with this again, you'd be like, it's fair enough, as long as it's not fucking broken. Like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but this is primarily supposed to be a multiplayer game.
Yeah,
when they launched it.
Yeah, which is
weird.
Yeah, just bonkers. But yeah, like, I loved the time I spent in that game in Squadrons. It just felt moot once they said they weren't doing anything with it again. That's like, fair enough.
Yeah. All right, so we might jump back into that once the update drops.
I'm well keen. Apparently they're doing private matches, so we can have custom matches, so we can have some fucking some duels and stuff. I reckon that'll be pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
See how it goes. Yeah.
All right, next piece of news we've got Deathloop has a new release date, dated for May 21st of next year. This is the PlayStation exclusive game from Bethesda, and it's also going out on PC. What were you saying?
It's a timed exclusive. Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously Xbox bought Bethesda, but this deal was in place, so it'll be on the PlayStation for a little bit and then come out. I'm definitely curious to see this game and play it.
I'm excited. I reckon this game looks fucking rad.
Yeah. And they do some good stuff over there at Arcane. So definitely keen for that one. And they announced some like DLC stuff or pre-order bonuses, but not that exciting. Next up, last piece of news here we've got is the Game Awards announcement. Nominees were talked about this morning, revealed. Game Awards are taking place for whatever reason on December 10th. Seems like maybe not a great day to have that. Unless
it's an odd choice.
It's an odd choice. That's Cyberpunk Day, for anybody that doesn't know. Cyberpunk Day is not tomorrow, or at least would have been today for you, right? Was it the 19th?
Would have been
today. So they're going up against Cyberpunk for their Game Awards show. We might just quickly go through. Have you had a look at any of these yet, or?
I'm just having a look now.
Right. So we've got.
We just go through.
I'll go through the Game of the Year list quickly. We've got this is overall Game of the Year: Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Animal Crossing: New Horizons, and The Last of Us Part 2. Are there any surprises on that list? Anything you think is missing? General thoughts?
I can't think of anything that's missing off the top of my head.
Yeah. What I might say is, just quickly, I've helped vote in these awards. Stevivor is a part of the jury, and so I've actually submitted my voting nominees for this. And to give people an idea, there was a cutoff date for nominees, and it was the release date for the PlayStation 5, which was the 15th, I think it was. Or the 12th. Sorry, it was the 12th. And so there are a couple of games in this list that are missing. In particular, I've seen people talking about stuff like Demon Souls is not here. Demon Souls code did not go out in time. So that's why it's not there. Spider-Man is on the list because Spider-Man was giving out like 2 weeks before the release of its game. And so there's a bunch of stuff on here that you'll be like, hey, why isn't this on the list? That is probably the reason. There was a cutoff date, and so that's not there. Anyway.
Okay, well, in that case, there is one surprise
mission,
and that would be Assassin's Creed Valhalla, because those codes were out before the 12th,
right? They were, yes. Again, you start running into issues where publications as a group, places like even our publication, right? Stevivor, you've got one person reviewing that game.
Yep.
And then you've got all these other people that are part of that publication that haven't played it. And so that ends up being, and I can't speak for other outlets, but I wouldn't take too much weight in these awards. At the end of the day, I think they're popularity contests.
Yeah.
Some places do that. I would do the voting differently if I had a choice, because I would do discussions and talking about, where I think these games should land, as opposed to, which I think the way that most of these sites do it is like popularity contests. Put your votes in and we'll tally them up. And so when you've got one person on the team that's played Assassin's Creed going up against 9 people that have played, let's go with Animal Crossing or Doom Eternal, it's kind of hard to win that argument when not everybody has played that game, which is why you start seeing some of these games on that list. So that's why I think Assassin's Creed is not on here.
Yeah, right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know out of these which will win. Maybe probably The Last of Us.
Right.
Final Fantasy VII Remake shouldn't be on there.
I'm going to take a stab and say that I think this is a three-way competition. I think it's The Last of
Yep.
Us, Animal Crossing, and Hades. Who's the three?
Hades would be fantastic. I would love that as an upset. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, but at the same time, popularity contest. I think those are the three games, but Animal Crossing I think has an edge above Hades.
Yeah.
And I think also there was a lot of negativity around The Last of Us Part Two.
True.
And that obviously affects people's decisions. We saw that with the previous games, so I think this one could go either way between
I think
Last
if you
of Us,
wanted
Hades, and
to,
Animal Crossing.
say a game was of the year 2020, Animal Crossing has a strong argument, even if I don't like anything about it myself.
Right. Neither do I. And the things I've heard about that game is it's very Nintendo-y. It's the same stuff they've put out before. It's just yeah. Whereas those other two games, as much as I do not like the end game of Hades, I don't think it's very good. But again, that's just people's opinions. Anyway, I think Doom Eternal is a weird one to have on there. I'm very surprised about that. The one I'm surprised about is Half-Life Alyx. That is like the third highest rated game of this year. And again, I think that comes down to the popularity contest thing. You've got game reviewers. A lot of people don't have VR games, VR headsets. So not a lot of people have played it. And so even though that game reviewed really well, it's like a 93 or 94 on Metacritic. You're talking about one or two people that are part of a publication that have a VR headset. And so they haven't played it. They haven't touched it.
And like, there's a decent chance that like I'm not the only person in the world who has played VR games before and therefore was able to see through the fucking paper thin game elements of Half-Life Alyx to see that it was in fact a fairly average game with a Half-Life label slapped onto it and pretty visuals. So maybe it shouldn't be game of the year because not like it. Anyway, best game direction.
Game direction. Half-Life Alyx.
Trash.
The Last Part 2, Hades, Ghost of Tsushima, Final Fantasy VII Remake. We've got best narrative, 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Last of Us Part 2. Best art direction, Final Fantasy, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Last of Us Part 2, Ori. Seen a bit of a trend here, right?
Yeah,
a lot of trend.
Did 4 games coming out this year? I think.
Yeah,
maybe only 4 games came out.
Well, Cyberpunk didn't come out in time, so
true.
That's the one, right? Got best performance. We've got Ashley Johnson as Ellie, Laura Bailey as Abby, Tatsuki Tsuji as Jin Sakai in Ghost of Tsushima. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. Logan Cunningham as Hades in Hades, and Najee Jita as Miles Morales in Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Cool.
I think there's I'm trying to think of what I put in that list. I think I'm missing someone. I didn't put in the one for Hades. I think I put in the main character for Hades. It's not. I can't think of it off the top of my head for whatever reason. But is there anything out of those lists that you kind of stands out to you? I think I put Troy Baker in mine as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. Fair enough.
No thoughts?
No. I don't know. No, I got nothing. We did go through about 6 categories. So.
Yeah.
I've noticed that the esports elements were as underbaked as ever.
So the esports stuff is the ones they've done. Media don't vote on esports anymore. For the last couple of years, they've had an esports panel voting for esports stuff.
So how the fuck did Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Fortnite, and Valorant
their esports panel voted for it?
That's the best esports games. That's something else. Well done. And the best esports athletes, Crim 6, Showmaker, Canyon, Shotzi, and Zywoo. Zywoo's the only fucking Counter-Strike player on that list, which is pretty fucking weird. Two of them are Call of Duty players. I think there might be an American-centric bias to this fucking esports panel A because pretty fucking weird that list. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of other
Like you
games on this list. Yeah.
Cool if you win an award at these awards, but they don't really count. There's only one award that matters, and it's the GA Podcast Game of the Year. When we get drunk and talk with Nate for 12 hours. And I don't even know if we'll give out awards anymore, but those are the only awards that matter.
They're not real awards.
They are real awards.
Yeah.
Just because they're not physical doesn't mean they're not real.
Right.
Anyway. That's it.
Yeah, that's the list. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know what date. I mean, it's coming out on the 10th. This thing, so I don't know what the plan is. Maybe we'll record something. Maybe we won't. Maybe we're too busy with Cyberpunk. But
yeah, we're not recording.
Anyway,
there's no fucking way we're recording anything for this one. Get the fuck out of here. We're playing fucking Cyberpunk. All right. That's it.
That is it. We got any questions?
Questions. We do. November. Yep. Okay. Dre 3 Money writes, how sketchy is this? Check out the release date, November 13, 2020. The problem is the game actually came out 2+ years ago, July 18. He's got a screenshot. I'm going to read out. It's Warhammer 40,000, 40k Gladius Relics of War.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like it's from the Epic Store. Game actually came out 2 years ago, July 18. So this is not a new title, new to the Epic Store, I guess, but surely that's stretching the truth. I only noticed this as I'm that guy that is still waiting for the killer Warhammer title, always looking at the plethora of Warhammer games out there, hoping one will actually be good. I was like, oh, new game, cool. Then I was like, wait, it's new, but there are only like 8 add-ons? Something fishy is going on here. So how dodgy is this fudging of the release date? Yeah, I'm with you, Drew. I mean, I don't think there's ever going to be a killer Warhammer title. I'm not with you on that, but I am with you that this release date horseshit, being that it's released on the day it joined the Epic Game Store, is bullshit. I'm pretty sure Steam's done it a couple of times before as well, and it's just shenanigans from publishers. I don't think it's Epic or Steam or whomever. It is publishers doing anything they can to literally trick you into buying it because you think it's new, even when it's not. Which is, I mean, even in a screenshot, it's priced at 60% off, so it's basically new. And you think to yourself, oh yeah, fuck yeah, new game and it's 60% off. I'm gonna fucking get this. And then they rope you in, but it's not even close to new. I think it's a horseshit move. And fuck them, but I mean, it's classic Games Workshop, though. Sega.
Remember Marvel Heroes, the multiplayer Diablo-style action game? They did something similar where it was called Marvel Heroes. That released in like 2013, 2014. And then each year afterwards, they updated it and called it Marvel Heroes 2015. And so they would get like a new spot on Steam and like all their reviews would be wiped or whatever. They were doing weird shit like that. They'd like rename the game.
Yeah, right.
It was insane.
Yeah, it's sort of like when you like, I'm trying to buy a new phone at the moment. And so I type in best Android phone 2020 and up comes a list, and it says it's dated as yesterday, but what they've actually got going on is a script in the background that literally just republishes it every 3 days or so, so it seems like it's fresh and new, so that they can like fuck with the Google SEO rankings and stuff.
Right.
I thought that specifically didn't work. I thought Google had like done something to stop that shit, but evidently they still do it, and it's annoying as fuck because you get like they'll be like, "Oh yeah, out last month, the blah de blah," and you're like, "Hang on, that fucking phone came out in fucking January, so what's going on here?" But that's what's happening. It's horseshit, and I fucking hate it.
Right.
It's classic internet. Classic internet. Good question, Drew. Okay, Heathy writes, not a virus. EDJN 75238Y 3245 N 90-7U87Y3 284. And then it's a text file. And then he writes, like legit, not a virus. So I'm going to click this. And if I go offline, I guess we'll know why. I'm opening it. All right. I just opened it in Notepad, and it appears to be not a virus. Oh my god, but it's the worst. Fuck damn it, Heath. He's written this. He's written it in leet speak. Or just randomly swapped out numbers and letters. It writes, "Hi Luke, hi Joab." I'm just going to read it out. I'm not going to do all the numbers because I'll go insane. "How are you?" "That is good. I am also good. Thank you. Happy birthday for last." Is that last? Fucking hell. It's 1457 is his version of last. "Last Sunday, Joab, and for last month, Luke. I have been playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It is fun. It does weird things with my keyboard, but I am having fun with it nonetheless. I noticed something tonight that I thought might make a good question. It might not make a good question, but my question is not if it makes a good question or not. Actually, I noticed this a while ago with other games, but I only just thought to make it a question tonight. What happened was I stumbled across a zealot, quite by accident. I decided to kill her because I think that is what I'm supposed to do as a Viking. That and pillaging and stuff. So I antagonized her. Then her ads, I did not know they were there, took exception to that, and then I had something like 8 ads to deal with in addition to this apparent boss fight. I say it was like a boss fight because I hit her with my heavy attack and it did not much damage to her at all. So after dying twice because I was hitting attack instead of dodge and dodge instead of attack, I eventually lured her far enough away from her loyal villagers that it was a one-on-one fight. In the end, I defeated her. Oh my D3F3473D. Defeated her. It was glorious. I beat her because I treated the fight like a boss fight in a Souls-type game. Watching and learning the attacks, the timing, making smart attack decisions, and not getting overconfident and trying to sneak in an extra swing where I shouldn't. Really taking my time. I have found myself doing this in other games involving combat, such as Ghost of Tsushima, The Witcher 3, and others, consciously thinking to myself, just like in Dark Souls, don't rush it, fight smart, fight dirty if you have to. Dead cunts can't fight shame you. Only I can fight shame me. So you better watch yourself, dirty fucking fighter. So my question is, do either of you have a game that molded you, that changed the way you approach games after having played through them? Or did you maybe see a video online that changed how you approach a certain game? My example here is Dark Souls 2 changing how I approach difficult combat encounters. I also once saw a video explaining Formula 1 drivers' driving styles, and that changed how I drive in those types of games. Do the listeners have any examples? Let Joab and Luke know, and they can read them out next week. Tata. P.S. If it makes you feel better, it's taken me 45 minutes and 4 headaches to type this out. I'm glad it gave you a headache, Luke, because it gave me a headache reading it. Not Luke, Heath. But anyway, did any game change the way you think about how you play games. I guess a couple of weeks ago we had a good one that asked if it changed how we thought about games. Was there any game that made you change the way you think about playing in games?
Heath gave a good example, and I guess it's one that's been on my mind because it's in my review that I've written. I wrote about 300 words about Dark Souls or like the genre, and how when I first got when I first got Dark Souls 1, like I've got it here somewhere. It's up in the corner of my room, like a press kit. This one. Did you get that?
I don't think I did.
Anyway, like Namco sent through this media kit for Dark Souls. It's got like a book and shit in it. But
classic.
I put it in the console. I didn't know anything about Dark Souls. Never played anything like that before. And got to that first boss and died, and I died, and I kept dying, and I died for like 40 minutes, and I stopped playing at that stage. And I was like, I'm good. I don't understand what's going on. This is a joke, and put it away. And at that stage, because I've done a bit of research in this because I've written about it. Dark Souls came out the same week as like NBA 2K12, Titanfall, and it was it Titanfall? Spider-Man: Edge of Time and Batman: Arkham City. And 3 of those games I was reviewing at the time for like different outlets. I was reviewing them. I think I reviewed Spider-Man: Edge of Time for Game Arena. I was reviewing Batman: Arkham City for Australian Gamer. I did the review for that. And I was doing Titanfall and Rage. Sorry, it might have been Rage that came out that same week. Anyway, like it was a dumb week. It was ridiculous, and I just didn't have time to play it. So I put it away. I stopped anything to do with Dark Souls, and then obviously the hype came around with Dark Souls 2. We were doing a podcast with a bunch of people on it that were really into those types of games, especially like Jung and all that. And so my hype got back up. Yeah, and then I realized that, oh yeah, I'm playing these games wrong. Well, like these are completely different because From Software is breaking the rules of what we look at when we think about game design. And so for me, I think that's the one that jumps out at this stage because that's what I've been literally writing about that at the moment. And so that's the one game for me. I guess the other game, like if I look at this year, VR has sort of changed the way that I look at games as well and how you can interact with them. I'd say they're the sort of things that jump out at me from my current mindset.
I'm going to go with, because I could easily go with Dark Souls as well, but if I'm going to pick one, I'm going to go with DayZ. Because it changed the way I thought about interacting with a game in the sense that, the immediate gratification concepts, I no longer needed. DayZ, you fucking walk for 2 hours and then something interesting happens, but you only remember the interesting thing that happens. And so you like learn to take a lot of pleasure in the more mundane elements of the game, which I really appreciate. And the other thing that it changed for me was how I think about positioning, because you can absolutely win fights. I think I always, I've played games competitively, in a competitive fashion, since I've played multiplayer games. But it wasn't something that really clarified in my mind. I think I've always been quite good at, map knowledge and map presence and like map command before, but it's not something that I really took into account as something important to me until I played DayZ, and you get in situations where you were like outgunned, outnumbered, and basically outdone, but you could still win those situations via superior positioning, provided you are able to pull it off. I just think back to like the Bearers Hospital. Bearers, it's like the eastern side of the map, halfway up. What the fuck was it called? DayZ map. Let's have a squiz. Generous. Come on, let's go. Cool, this one doesn't have fucking map names on it. God damn it. Yeah, Berezino. Yeah, Bears. The hospital of Bears. I remember, getting fucking ambushed by like 4 dudes there one time. Like, got caught out. I think I was there because someone had spawned back in quite close to it. Might have been like Fjaren or Drew or maybe even Heath. And I was just hanging out there looting the hospital, waiting for them to show up. I had okay gear. These dudes came in, they had fucking top-notch gear. And it was like a fucking, 15, 20-minute protracted fight in that hospital, in and around it, on the roof, dropping down ledges and stuff like that, trying to do anything I could to like change the odds of that fight through positioning to survive. And after that one, like it feels like every fight changed for me. And it was not even just like close quarters, but like I think we had a huge advantage when we first started playing PUBG because almost everyone in our squad had a real good command on the radial compass. And like there's so much more to using a radial compass than just saying, oh yeah, to my 300. Like the ability to estimate someone else's approximate radial is huge as well. So if I can say to my 300 to like look to your 280 and like give an accurate fucking direction, that's fucking huge. Or like ranges as well, estimating ranges and knowing how to read a map based on grids and stuff and using that to estimate range and all that kind of stuff. That all came from DayZ initially, and I think we had a huge advantage from the outset because we were able to do that shit. And other people would have to learn it on the fly in PUBG in a much more hectic environment, whereas in in DayZ, there are occasions where you're just like, oh yeah, let's go to that fucking house up on the hill. My 160 or I don't know 140, about 250 meters, and then you'd all go there. And yeah, you do it in a much calmer environment. It was a big opportunity, and I learned that Heath can't drive cars despite playing fucking Formula 1 games his entire fucking life in Wasteland in Armour, because he can't drive cars and he rolls more. Anyway, good question, Heath. The worst way to present it, but good question. And dang as right, is that a question?
It was.
Luckily for Heath, it was, because otherwise, I don't know. I don't have any consequences in mind. Anyway, good stuff. Good questions. Great stuff.
Cool. All right.
Love it.
That is the podcast. Yeah, you can find us on iTunes, Android, Windows Store, Spotify, YouTube, all the places you get your podcast from. We're under the Gap or the GA Podcast. Please rate and review the show if you have a moment. It helps other people find us. If you would like to send us questions, you can email us thegapodcast@gmail.com or jump onto our Discord page at thegapodcast.com/Discord. I've got a bunch of channels in there. You can talk to other people, people playing games. I saw Nate in there by himself last night. I don't know what he was doing, but he was playing something. I think he's been waiting for us to play Call of Duty. That's the problem. We've been busy. He's hanging out.
Yep. I think he wants. Yeah. So, play more Call of Duty.
He wants to get sweaty. You can find us on social media, facebook.com/the GA podcast, twitter.com/the GA podcast. You can watch this podcast on YouTube, thegapodcast.com/YouTube. It's up there every week in video format. You can watch Joab's sexy new dolphin shirt.
It's my birthday.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. It was last week, wasn't it? It's fine.
It was on Sunday.
It's
It's still
last
technically my birthday week. Get the fuck out of here. Sunday's this week. Do you not know how weeks work?
It was Saturday here, so it was
Alright.
last week. You can also find us on our website, thegapodcast.com. You can go there. It shows you links to everything we just talked about on the show, including past episodes. You can also go read our reviews and all sorts of things on that site. And that's all thanks to our Patreon members who help support the show. They keep the site running and the podcast going. You can go to patreon.com/thegapodcast and become a recurring subscriber, monthly subscriber. Thank you to everyone who does it every month. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Your support.
You're the best. We
And
love you. Everyone who listens is the best, but you're the extra best.
The extra best, extra spicy. Anything you'd like to pimp out for this week you've been working on?
Theoretically, you'll be able to go to IGN and watch me play Destiny with Hex.
Mhm.
Otherwise, you can go to Ozgame. I don't know when it's going up, honestly. I've got no idea. They didn't tell me. And I'm not involved in the editing process. I was the talent. I've never been the talent. Well, I've been the talent a couple of times, but it's unusual for me to be the talent.
Hmm.
It was well out of my wheelhouse. But
You got that influencer money though, right? So it's fine.
fucking I got that classic game journalist money. But working with Hex was awesome, and yeah, she's fantastic. So if it does go up this week, definitely check it out. I have no idea how it'll turn out, but hopefully it was as much fun to watch as it was to play. And otherwise, ozgamers.com for my Demon's Souls review. It's I don't know. I think it's about 3,000 words. So no pressure, Luke. But
No, I'm not. Mine's being padded out from my stupid story at the start, and that's because I don't think I've got much to say about it, really.
yeah.
Even though we spent an hour talking about it, I still think I don't have as much to say as you do. Anyway,
I'm a wordy cunt. So
yeah. You can go to Stevivor.com and my Demon's Souls review should be up at some stage as well. I guess we'll see who goes up first, right? We can have bets.
the race is on.
All right. That is it for this week. We'll be back next week. I'm not sure what we're going to be talking about. There's a few things coming out very soon. Hopefully we can play some more games. I want to check out some NBA 2K21 on next gen. I've got it installed. I played one or two games. Looks good, but I want to get in there and play some my career. Play the basketball.
Yep.
Should be good.
We can maybe have a big fight about Call of Duty's campaign, or you'll get to hear me admit that I was incorrect.
Yeah.
One of those two.
Nate's never wrong. You know, the guy who said Battlefront 2 is the best game ever made.
He has, but like about Call of Duty campaigns, he's been correct more often. Or our opinions have aligned at least, because he said the Modern Warfare campaign was trash.
Yeah,
No, that's how I felt as well. Oh my god! Just stop. Just stop. Just stop. It's trash.
All right. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.